Go.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to Wabaam, the gaming podcast that we do on occasion whenever we feel that we need to talk about gaming, really. And if there was ever a time to talk about gaming, well, yesterday, after what all happened yesterday, that's a big time about gaming. We're going to go over the conferences that took place yesterday, last night, and we're going to go over what Nintendo had to offer today.
The E3 conferences.
The E3 conferences, and we're going to
Yeah.
go over what Nintendo had to offer today, and we're going to give our opinions on each of them. And we'll start off with the very first conference that we saw, which was the Microsoft press conference.
Actually, that wasn't the first one. I think there were a couple of companies that had their own conference.
Yeah, but they weren't
Game companies
streamed.
that had their own-
They weren't streamed. We're on about the ones that we saw at the stream. If we didn't see it, we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Microsoft promised to deliver an E3 press conference filled with games.
Yeah,
Well, we got that.
Supposedly they were gonna. I heard that they were going to. They had 15 exclusive games, which yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and to be fair, they
What-
did deliver on that promise.
They did deliver on that promise, but no one ever said it was 15 good games.
Yeah, nobody said they were good.
Yeah.
Before they went into the games, in an effort to rip off basically PlayStation and the PlayStation Plus service, they announced that each Gold members will get 2 free downloads of full games with if they're a Gold member.
And in response, by the way, Sony now does 2 free games and 1 free indie game.
Yeah, 2 free games and 1 free indie game, and yeah, we'll cover PlayStation Plus when we get to the Sony conference.
Yeah.
But we also saw an announcement of a free-to-play title coming to the system, World of Tanks. I'm like, but again,
By the way,
Yeah.
you
With
mean
the
Xbox
guy
Live
that had
Gold?
the inscrutable accent.
What? World of Tanks? That the game that's one of those games that's made by that company that like makes those world of whatever games that are horribly like they just like rush them out the door and they're just like horribly glitched and unplayable to a point.
By the way, fun fact, you
I
need
don't
to
know.
pay for Xbox Live Gold to play World of Tanks. So you're paying for a free game. That's
yeah,
stupid.
you're paying.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
Well, but you have to pay for online, or else how will you not be a pirate?
But also, my thing here with this is, World of Tanks is a PC game. Get it for free on the PC, or pay for Xbox Live and get it.
The options.
Ooh.
Decisions.
Well, I know what the Xbox crowd will do, because the Xbox crowd is full of morons. Seriously, after last night, if you get an Xbox One, you are nothing but a moron in my eye. I'm sorry. There's no other
Yeah,
way around.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
If you get an Xbox
I'm going to
One,
have to.
You're getting
I think I'll
burned.
agree with
You're
that.
getting ripped off. It's
Yeah,
not a good
yeah.
deal.
Because
Microsoft-
the Xbox One is $499 US.
By the way, we should probably stick to the order that it happened, and we'll mention
Yeah,
that
yeah,
later.
we'll get back. Yeah, but Microsoft.
Oh, by
also-
we'll get to that.
by the way, all the stuff we talked about on the previous Wabam, all the restrictions we talked about have been basically Xbox has come out on their website or some website, basically confirming everything we just said. These are not rumors
Well,
anymore.
we were incorrect about one thing.
what was that?
There is no game fee for trading, but you can trade only once and with someone who's been on your friends list for 30 days. Along with that,
What?
you can't trade in your game unless it's a store that's approved by Microsoft. So if you're a smaller gaming store, fuck you, and you're like screwed. That's
Yeah,
pretty much.
this kind of proves why this
Microsoft wants
is
to
why
fuck the market.
This is why you should never shop at GameStop, because GameStop is one of the only retailers that is going to be is partnering with Microsoft.
I was gonna say I don't really blame GameStop. That's half of their business.
I
You
don't
know,
blame.
Yeah, I do blame GameStop because they've always been greedy, evil motherfuckers, and they always will be. Fuck them.
oh, I like the guys
Yeah.
at my GameStop. They've never really did that.
They also revealed Twitch.
I'm not saying the employees. I'm saying the people that run the fucking company.
Yeah. Well, Microsoft also revealed Twitch TV integration into the Xbox One, and
With a really large obstructive
With a really large
sidebar.
obstructive interface that blocks half of the screen.
Yeah, it blocks the corner of the screen and makes it harder to play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
can see
by the
people
way,
bitching at you
this,
on the screen.
This recap of the Xbox One conference, it was definitely written by a guy who wanted to look good to Microsoft and make Microsoft look good. Listen, Microsoft also revealed Twitch TV integration into the Xbox One, which looked incredibly easy to use and like a very solid implementation of it.
Honestly, it was just an on button, but it still was shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Twitch TV, my question to you is, Sony had a streaming thing. Why didn't you go to PS4? Why?
I think the reason why is because Microsoft bought the rights to do that, and Sony's was like, well, shit. Okay, Ustream.
Okay, that makes
I think Microsoft ended up showing out more for Twitch/Justin than what Sony did.
Yeah, fair enough. Another new feature of the Xbox One was the ability to queue up matchmaking. With this, players could try to find a new game to play and then jump in and play another one while the Xbox matches you were playing in the background.
That's okay.
Go on, were you going to say something, or was it just...
I said that's an okay feature.
Oh, okay. And then the games kicked off with Metal Gear Solid 5.
It looked like
Metal
Red
Gear
Dead.
Solid 5.
There's no way. There is no way in hell.
Guys, it's
sorry, go ahead.
Red Dead Solid Snake. I mean, it didn't look very Metal Gear Solid-esque.
Yeah, it didn't at all.
Well, that's not the only.
It looks more like Red Dead Redemption because, I mean, when I think of Metal Gear Solid, I don't really think of wide open deserts. I kind of think more of confined jungles and confined spaces. I mean, So the thing about a stealth game is that it's not supposed to be wide open.
I would
It's
love a
supposed to be
military
two places.
base I would like a military base to sneak around in and on top of a mountain
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be there's very few places to run and hide. So if you have this massive world where you can run around, and that kind of defeats the purpose of a stealth game.
Pretty much.
That seems like you'd be really easy to notice then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like...
Well, no, but Snake can hide behind his horse.
What?
Because he did this thing in the trailer where he dropped down to the side of his horse and while it was still in motion, keeping one foot in the stirrup, and nobody noticed him. And I'm like, are you really that stupid as to not say hey, look, there's a horse with the saddle that's running with a dude's leg that's strung right over it. Oh, it's probably nothing.
It's probably just some retard.
Yeah.
Then again, Metal Gear Solid guards don't notice cardboard boxes that seem to be moving at a steady pace. So
If Metal Gear soldiers followed more common sense, I think it'd be a fucking hard game. But still,
I've never been a huge fan of the Metal Gear Solid front. I mean, I liked it. It's just
I am a Metal Gear fan. It just looks a bit kind of weird, but
also, it looks like it's supposed to take place in Africa because there's a lot of diamonds and there were a lot of black kids in a cage. And the thing is that, and they talked about, and correct me if I'm wrong, MGS fans, isn't Shadow Moses is somewhere in Africa?
Shadow Moses is in Alaska.
Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Not Africa at all.
They have this weird thing where it looked kind of like New Mexico, but I think it was supposed to take place in Africa. And I'm like, Kojima, have you ever been to Africa or seen a picture of it?
The answer is no.
It's just, It was so weird to see a desert. I mean, when I think of Metal Gear Solid, I don't think desert.
I think desert. I think jungles or Arctic, or just something.
When I think Metal Gear Solid, I don't think Western.
Why was it? Why were they doing? Why was it like Red Dead Redemption? That's a good game, but still.
I think if I know Kojima, he's probably just trying to piss off fans now.
Yeah.
I know he actively fucks with people, so.
He does.
Yeah, like he stopped caring about like.
I think my favorite part
I
was he
think
walked
every
onto
Metal Gear
the
Solid game-
stage and just went, "This will be a good game, bye."
Yeah, that was amazing. He
Um,
literally got up on stage, said, "This will be a good game," then just left.
Of course,
So,
he doesn't know English, so.
after Metal Gear Solid, we had a look at Rise.
Hang on a second.
Oh!
I just want to say this about Metal Gear Solid 5. There is no way that it's staying there's no way that that's staying exclusive.
It's not.
It isn't exclusive at all.
Okay.
Never
Yeah.
was.
Up next we got Rise, a game by Crytek.
The guys who make
And,
prizes.
But guys, I have to say,
This has got to be one of the worst games that I've seen in the conference. Like,
I
of
have
all,
to say, for a Crytek, in terms of graphics, for a Crytek game, it looks like shit.
like yeah, it's all black and gray. It looks hideous.
Yeah, along with
Yeah.
that, it's just like, what the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah, because like
Yeah, it's pretty much
for those
going
of
to be
you
a
who haven't
CG
seen
fest.
like for those of you who haven't seen the Rise gameplay demo, it's like it's supposed to be a hack and slash. But the
Honestly,
thing is
when
that-
at first it looked good with like the slashing and fighting and shit, and then all these fucking buttons came up for insta kills, and it's just like, oh my god, you fucked it up.
Yeah, and I thought that was just like a one-time thing. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like you do a certain combo, you get an insta kill. Every single fucking enemy was killed with that insta kill, and there was like 20 of them. And I'm like, oh
It's
my
just
god,
like, you
this is the
ruined
most-
a decent idea just now.
No, okay. Also, it's like as Alomdar said that
It doesn't
these
look
are
that
very
good.
very bad looking graphics. It kind of looks like a Call of Duty game, which is why I call it Call of Duty Roman Warfare. And like it just looks really like it kind of feels like a Call of Duty game too, because there's so much explosions, there's so much shit going on,
It's like
and
this-
there's just so much crap that's crowding the screen. It looks really like messy.
It's just, who would play a game where you just press a button and win?
An idiot?
A monkey? Is that what they think we are? Okay, we're
I
A
think
mixed game
so.
player? Oh wait.
They think we're all brain dead zombies will just buy into whatever they show
By
us.
the way, if you want to play your game but not actually use your console, you could use it on Smart Glass.
Oh my god, fuck that. Oh, I have to buy a fucking tablet. Like,
Tablet's like expensive as shit, man.
yeah, tablets
Well, you can-
are expensive.
well,
Like
Well,
300, like $300
You can
expensive.
easily. Well, actually, the Google Nexus 7
I don't
is
care.
only $200.
I don't care.
Okay, well,
Okay.
so, oh, by the way, the protagonist of Rise has the most generic Roman name ever in Marius Titus.
Mary
With-
Titus.
They weren't even trying.
Yeah, that's not even. That's like naming your That's like naming your protagonist John Johnson.
Come on, man. I love the Roman era, and even that's just generic as fuck name.
Yeah, that is a generic as fuck name.
I mean, I could have gotten into this. I mean, I love Roman time, but no.
It's the same here. I mean,
Really shitty QTEs.
oh god.
Why do you think I pre-ordered Rome Total War 2 the moment that was able to be pre-ordered? I was
That's
gonna
like
get that no
big
matter
fucking
what.
badass and also slightly, yeah.
Yeah, but no, you took. Fuck you. We saw also reveals from Respawn Entertainment, which was filmed by X-Infinity Ward devs. They showed us Titanfall, which, okay, the way to explain Titanfall, imagine Call of Duty, but with giant robots.
Like, just imagine the boring part of Call of Duty, but then there are giant robots to make up the not boring part of Call of Duty.
Now, the funny thing is that if I were a Call of Duty fan, I would have been like, awesome! But
I
I'm
would have
not,
shit
so...
my pants, but I
I'm
just
not
don't like.
a shooter kind of guy. I don't play any shooters.
Is it bad that I would want the game without the Call of Duty parts and just the robot fighting? Because that sounds
I
fucking
know, if
great.
you made a game like with
Absolutely
robot
not.
fighting, I'd fucking play that.
Wait, they did. It's called Hawken. And it's free to play.
But there's also. Well, there's
Also,
also
the
X,
the
but we'll get
Gundams-
to that.
The Gundam
Because
series
I fucking
too,
love.
also like that.
Because I fucking love mechs.
I
Mechs
mean,
are great.
the mechs, it's a cool idea, the robots, But it's like that was the only cool part about the game. The rest of it just looks like Call of Duty.
Let me think logically.
It does look exactly like
Let
Call
me
of
think
Duty. It's
logically,
complete with-
like from the standpoint of common sense. If you have a giant robot with like missiles and like gravity fields and shit, why would you ever get out of it?
Yeah, why would you ever need to get out of it?
You would just
Probably
use the
because
fucking
you're-
robot all the time.
Well, except if it gets so damaged that you need to bail out of it. And
Yeah, except
Then
get
you just go
ridiculous.
find another robot.
Yeah, go find another robot. I mean, like, I think it was in the demo. He like got out the robot. There was like another robot a few feet away from him, but instead he just decided to walk and shoot.
It's
Well,
just like,
because you
just
want to
take
feel
the
like,
robot.
oh yeah, I'm such a badass.
Because-
taking down this mech.
You know what's also badass? Riding a fucking robot.
Well, see, the thing is that the funny thing is that it literally looks like Call of Duty in the future. Like it still has the same gray colors. It looks like it's running on the same engine.
It probably is.
It has-
It is. Before the robots, I'm just like, this is a new Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, not so Modern Warfare.
Call of
Yeah.
Duty Futuristic
Call of Duty Future
Warfare.
Warfare.
So, yeah, they showed us that. I wasn't too impressed with that, because to me it was just Call of Duty with robots. And
Also, you
then,
can buy it on you can buy it on the PC. So
yeah, then they showed what most Xbox fans were ranting and raving about for about 20 minutes before they realized before the rest of it was actually revealed, which was Killer Instinct. And you see, they said
Oh, God, this.
they decided not to tell you about this on stage, but we'll tell you about it just in case you Xbox fans out there still got your hopes up for this game. Killer Instinct, it's only one player is actually free for you to play. If you
Only
want
one character. Only one character.
one character, if you want any of the other characters, you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, and it's
Also-
also made by the devs who made
This
a
is
really
the
shitty...
worst example of free-to-play I've ever seen in my life.
I was gonna say,
Mhm.
it's also made by devs who made the fucking Battleship game.
They made
no,
Battleship,
not only that, guys, not just that. G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra.
and they also
Green
made
Lantern.
the Green Lantern game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they-
I hope you
the
enjoy
only
your
thing-
game, guys. Thanks.
I hope you
Yeah. So enjoy your Killer Instinct.
That's a console buyer right there.
Yeah. Console buyer buying a quote unquote free to play fighting game from the same people that
Enjoy
made
your
Silent
one
Hill
character, you
Homecoming.
piece of shit. Fuck you.
That's about as free.
How the hell did Rare not lose this franchise? Because I mean, Rare, it hasn't been good, but it would have still probably been bad under Rare
You know, it would
because
have been...
Rare hasn't been. It would have been. Wouldn't have been this.
Would have been cool if it was a new Banjo-Kazooie game or something, but whatever.
What?
But
Yeah.
honestly,
Rare
the only
become-
I honestly think that Nintendo should have wrested away control of this series.
They
Yeah, they should
I honestly
have.
think that
they probably could have
like,
used
but
it.
then again, like I don't understand. Like it's not like Killer Instinct was necessarily the biggest fighting game.
Like,
I mean,
people
I
liked
don't understand
it.
if it's, like,
It
has
was,
a
it was cool. People liked it, but still.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the kind of franchise that is like, oh, you know what, this console, like what every generation's missing, Killer Instinct reboot.
Here's what I've heard about that the Killer Instinct 2 is they're supposedly going to try and take out a lot of the stuff that made that game what it is,
Like blood.
well, not so much the blood, like the insane how crazy that game was with the crazy characters. Like you had a guy that was made of like liquid ice or something, and then you had the guy who was made of fire, and
They showed those characters,
or
though.
you had the giant, or you had the werewolf. The guy was nothing but bones.
Wasn't it also during this time when they were showing?
And also had the crazy, insanely long combos.
Yeah,
They-
but
Well,
wasn't it also during the Killer Instinct showing that the rape joke was made?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There was
so,
a-
I did not hear
I
that.
I missed this.
yeah, rape
I
joke.
missed
Okay, so the
that.
guy's playing Killer Instinct, and I think he's going up against a girl or something, and he's basically owning her ass. And then during the fight, he decides to say, "Just relax, it'll be over soon." And someone had apparently it was to do, like, someone had associated it with rape.
I like
You
rape.
know,
I like rape.
Because apparently I didn't see the full thing, but I know the comment that people got really riled up about was the "just relax, it'll be over soon."
well, that does sound like something a rapist would say.
Yeah, just relax.
Yeah, it does.
But
That is slightly
in,
creepy.
In this case, in this case, I don't think that's
No,
what he
I
meant.
don't know, because I didn't see the full thing. I just know. I don't know whether there was comments leading up to that comment
No,
that made
he
it
just
seem...
said it while he was beating her ass in the fighting game.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so
So people are freaking out for no reason.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I honestly, it's not like they really made the game look very appealing. Like, that certainly was more interesting than anything else that we saw from the Killer Instinct demo. So
Also, it just looks like a fucking Street Fighter clone. Like, just Street Fighter 4 clone.
yeah, it looks like this bad Street Fighter Mortal Kombat clone, and yeah.
But hey, if this is a console buyer for you, congratulations having to pay for every character you want. I can totally see why Xbox One is a console that you would want, and this is a game that you'd want. Really,
Okay, and
honestly.
also
Why is there
also
like
before that,
15 asterisks attached to every game?
Also,
That's just
following a theme for the conference, a racing game was shown at the Microsoft conference. Forza 5.
And again, Forza is like not a very strong racing series. I mean, the only thing it's known for is its good graphics.
it has good graphics and like pretty good car models, but it
But, like,
doesn't
that's
offer
it.
anything that no other game has. You know?
Well,
Yeah.
except now it has more realistic racers that learn your strategies.
If you're not a good driver,
takes
that means
to
you're
the
gonna show
cloud.
up in different games and damn.
I know, I'm thinking about you, Ali. If you're driving like a fucking maniac and the AI learns from that, the whole race course is going to become chaos.
Like there's like
Yeah,
me
or like,
legitimately racing, and then
so
there's
like
me
if you
fucking
suck
around.
at like my question is, if you suck at Forza 5, will the AI modify to compensate for the fact that you suck, or is it just gonna be like
I think it's
so
just
basically
going to stick with the training wheels level of AI.
my question is why can't you just have a difficulty slider? Like, what is so hard about that? Why do we always have to have cloud and responsive AI? It's like, sometimes people just are fine with having a easy, medium, hard.
I was gonna say there's one reason why Forza exists, because Gran Turismo isn't on Xbox. That's literally the reason why Forza exists.
Well, it's
But
because
then you can
Gran
get Need for
Turismo is
Speed.
developed by Sony.
It's not a sim game. People want a driving sim, so it's just like, okay, so they don't have Gran
No, I
Turismo.
said
Let's just make
Sony.
this game. I wasn't listening to you. Okay.
No,
Uh,
I was saying that the reason why is because GT is developed by Sony.
I know.
Yeah.
I was saying
Like-
that the reason why Forza exists is because they couldn't make it for the Microsoft Xbox. So
Yeah,
it's just like,
like,
let's make a racing sim for the Xbox. That's the entire
And
basis
honestly,
of
and they
Forza's
made a
existence.
Oh, by the way, there was also a trailer for Dark Souls 2, which the only thing I'd like to point out is that isn't Dark Souls already a sequel?
It's Dark Souls 2 is a sequel, and it's on every other console.
No, but isn't Dark Souls 1?
You can also get it on
Wasn't
PC.
Dark Souls a sequel to Demon Souls?
No, it was a reboot, sorta.
Oh, it was a reboot. Okay.
So it's
Minecraft is getting a new version exclusive to the Xbox One, which is it's Minecraft.
Which has a
Yeah.
bigger
Hold
map
the fuck
apparently,
up. Now I
even
want to buy
though
this fucking system.
the PC version has a map the size of 2 times the size of Earth. So, good
I
job.
thought it was 8 times.
I don't fucking remember the number, okay?
Yeah, it was 8 times. I remember it's being 8 times.
But
That's
yeah,
not
it's just like,
said.
it's still going to be limited because it's the Xbox.
And then we saw an exclusive to Xbox One, Dead Rising, which didn't look like Dead Rising at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's take this campy, fun, silly horror game that's funny and also kind of gross, and just make it into this gritty Dawn of the Dead fucking reboot thing.
We were all saying
had
at
to
the time.
finish Shadow of-
I'm like,
Let me.
Go ahead, everybody.
I'm
okay,
just going to say
well,
that.
then again, isn't that kind of what Rockstar did with the GTA series?
Yeah,
Like,
but
let's
this is
take
even
pretty fun-
worse. They didn't
Yeah.
even show
Yeah, I did
hints
not
of
see
it.
this
They
Dead
didn't even
Rising
show
trailer, so
hints of doing this. It's just like, okay, game's serious now. Yeah.
It looked more like a Resident Evil game than a Dead Rising.
Oh my god.
Also, I have to
Serious?
say,
Also, you can
Because
call
when
in
I think of
airstrikes with your
Dead
smart
Rising, I
glass.
think of survival horror.
No, it looked more like Resident Evil than it did like a Dead Rising game.
Also, it has
It's
Yeah.
like turning a scary movie franchise into a genuine horror movie.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, the best part, they said it had couch co-op, but it's not actually co-op. It's a guy with a phone and a guy playing the game.
yeah,
Uh-huh. So what does the guy with the phone do?
Calls in
calling
airstrikes.
airstrikes.
So it's watching a game. So it's the equivalent of what happens when you are watching someone play and you take the controller out of their hands for like 2 seconds.
I don't think that.
Like that's okay. Like so you're barely even involved in co-op. You just say like, okay, I'm just gonna press a button occasionally if you need it.
The best
Yeah,
part
it's pretty
is
much-
you can get damaged by your own airstrike, so if your friend doesn't like you...
So if your friend doesn't like you, he calls in an airstrike at you, and before you restart, he says Xbox off.
Yeah, pretty much this is going to be like,
This is the
Super Mario-
console for complete and utter dicks.
yeah. I was going to say that this is pretty much Super Mario Galaxy level of co-op, where the second player can only shoot gem crystals at enemies for you in Galaxy.
Yeah, it's pretty much like it's the laziest form of co-op, honestly.
It's there if you want to
Yeah.
bring your, like, little 8-year-old brother to help.
Well, okay, but then your 8-year-old brother's like, he's gonna eventually ask, why do I always call in the airstrikes? Why can't I kill the zombies? No, because you're not 17 yet, aren't you?
Sorry, Billy, you're a retarded shit.
Then he's just gonna call an airstrike on you and then shout Xbox off.
Yeah, this console is literally created just for dickheads. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's created for dickheads, and it's created to steal those dickheads' money. So,
Yeah, well,
Insomniac and Microsoft announced a partnership for a game called Sunset Overdrive. I don't remember
That game
anything
was
about
like-
this.
oh,
It's-
that was
Can
the
I
game
say this really
that
quick,
was-
guys?
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty much Borderlands Infinite X.
Yeah.
I'm-
What it is,
With zombies.
it's trying too hard to be. It's like a weird mixture between Borderlands, Bioshock Infinite, Mirror's Edge, and like all the. It's like it seems to be like with the same tone as Saints Row 3. I mean,
I was
trying
gonna say,
too
it's
hard.
just... One of my problems is when they just start combining different games into a new game.
Yeah, well, and also it's like it was near the end. It was obvious that this game is trying way too hard to be quirky. Like instead of like the Ratchet and Clank games, which were actually quirky, this was like, okay, here, let's have this dude that looks all. Let's have this fat dude shoot DJ discs out of a gun, and oh, he puts soda in his gun and it makes it a nuke. I mean, it's like, yeah, there's a limit. I mean, to how much quirkiness you can have before you're trying too hard.
Yeah, it was with that X reference at the end of my title. I was referencing Revolution X, which is an old arcade game made by Midway, where your missile launcher is replaced with a CD launcher. It's pretty much like Terminator 2, the arcade game, Revolution X.
It's just weird, I just don't remember a single thing they showed me about this game.
Like it was a trailer. Like it was a very, very quick
It's trying
trailer.
to be cool and hip and funny, but it isn't.
Like it's trying to be like cool, hip, random, and funny, but it seems like it's just trying too hard.
Pretty much that's Microsoft in a nutshell. They're pretty much being like 40-year-olds trying to be hip and trendy. Hell, they're
Yeah,
still
it's
doing
like-
that with Internet
it's-
Explorer, with the dubstep Internet Explorer control commercials.
It's like your dad when he walks into the room. It's like I'm so cool. Watch me rap Will Smith songs. It's like not only
It's
are
like
they clearly
There's a
trying
room,
hard
let's
to
say
be
there's
cool,
a room
but
full
they
of
don't-
There's a room full of 16-year-olds, and your dad walks in and he's trying to like be cool dad in front of them, but he just looks like a tool.
Yeah, he's supposed to like. Yeah, he's like I'm cool too, and he's like sagging his pants and wearing
Guys,
his
guys,
baseball
I got
hat
the swag.
sideways.
I got the swag.
Yeah, I'm keeping it real.
I am having the swag right now.
Yeah.
They showed another game that I remember nothing about seeing, which was called Below, which is apparently a roguelike.
It was really
Okay.
fucking
Very
zoomed out. Like, you couldn't see unless you had extremely good vision. It
Yeah, I
was
could
so
barely even
zoomed
see
out.
it too, and I have very great vision too.
It was so fucking zoomed out. How are you going to play that on a TV? Unless you have a
And
huge
apparently it's
TV.
not going to be.
Okay. If you close your blinds, turn your lights off, and then turn the brightness on the TV all the way up.
Also, it's been announced that most likely this game will not remain Xbone exclusive.
Uh-huh.
It's dumb.
Wow. After
So this
last
is
night,
pretty much-
I can see a lot of exclusives being like, we're not exclusive anymore.
Yeah, well, you know.
Pretty much going to be a timed exclusive.
Oh,
Which
it's a
is
timed
just-
one, then that doesn't count for a reason again. I hate Microsoft and their timed exclusives. Oh, you
Yeah,
can
me-
get it before Sony gets it. It's not an exclusive. Fuck off.
Yeah. I don't give a shit if you got it before Sony gets it, or like, and the same thing applies to Sony because they also did this a lot. It's like, if the game's gonna be released on another console later, it's not an exclusive.
It's not an exclusive.
Yeah.
And the worst one is exclusive DLC. Like, it's
Yeah.
like that.
That's-
In that way, you're just being a dick because it's like
Yeah, you're just like,
people
we're going to
only-
limit the game from you just because you didn't buy our console.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's one
All
trope
we-
that I hated from the 360, PS3, Wii generation. Wow, I almost footed that.
Oh,
PS4.
Dude, the PS4 conference had a few
The
DLCs.
thing is, the Wii didn't do that. The Wii didn't
Well,
do anything.
I was still adding it because the Wii is still technically part of that generation.
Yeah. And then finally, Microsoft ended it on the very thing that I know people are gonna go and buy this console for, and they're idiots for doing it, and that's Halo.
It was a Halo
not
TV
made by
series,
Bungie, by the
apparently.
way.
Not made by Bungie, by the way, because they've got
And it's
over
probably-
the Sony.
And it's probably going to be a TV. It's going to probably be an interactive TV game,
TV thingy.
like Quantum Break is going to be.
Like, it was just Halo,
Oh, yeah,
but they were in a
Quantum Break
desert.
That
you know,
game
so-
looked like it made no sense.
How?
Yeah, Project Break still has nothing to its name.
I was
How
gonna
has
say,
that-
one
I
of
have
my
no
problems
idea what the
was,
hell
why
they were
was
doing with
Halo,
that
why
game.
was Master Chief wearing, like, a big old garb cloak thing besides just hiding himself? Because he has
Right.
Probably
armor.
for the same reason. Yeah, that didn't really make that much sense to me in Mega Man 02. When in the opening sequence, you see Zero wearing a cloak, even though he's a Reploid.
Yeah, like it just doesn't make any sense. Like,
It's like,
why is
it's
Halo
like
so-
you're wearing let's say you're wearing a cloak to hide your identity, but under your cloak is a mask, and it's just like, wow, you're stupid.
See, my question is, wasn't Halo supposed to be done with its third entry?
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
Halo 4
but
happened.
then like Microsoft wanted more.
Well,
Halo.
I mean, they did leave the ending of Halo 3 open for a sequel.
Yeah, and Microsoft was like,
Oh.
guys, more Halo, and Bungie was all like, peace, and then they just got some other guys to make it.
But he's like, we don't want to make more Halo games. We want to make our own games, which
wanna-
we'll actually
we wanna-
get to what game.
We're not a fucking Halo machine. We gotta make new games.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, we wanna
Xbox
make
fans. First of
our
all,
own games.
how is first of all Xbox fans?
Go hire
After-
your own Halo machine, and then Microsoft was like, okay.
First of all, Halo fans. After so many Halo games, and after how generic and boring they've gotten, how can you still justify this one and lone franchise that Xbox has ever had a reason for buying to buy the console anyway? It's become so generic and so boring, and yet every time a new console comes out, man, I can't wait for that new Halo game. Man, that Halo game's going to be a console buy right there. It's like, what? Bungie's not even making the games. When the people who make the games in the first place are like, fuck this, I'm jumping ship. What is there to look for in this game? Why
Yeah,
is it, how is that?
especially since Halo 4 has now elements that make it look like a fucking Call of Duty franchise.
How is this?
A Call of Duty, you know.
Yeah, and I'm seeing in like on forums, like in E3 threads, like, oh man, Sony kicked Microsoft's ass, but you know what? I'm still gonna get an Xbox One for Halo, and I'm just like, why? Why would you do that just for Halo?
Speaking of last gen 360 exclusives, there's no mention of Gears of War at all at E3.
I think that's a good
No
thing,
Gears
to be
of
honest.
War for
Gears
the
of War
Xbox
Judgment
One.
was a complete failure. Like,
Well, which one was Gears of War Judgment?
the Gears
That was
of
the
War
one
4.
that just came out.
Oh.
Yeah, it
I
was the
didn't
one
even
that
know
just
that it
came
was a
out
thing.
this year.
And apparently it didn't have an official story mode. It just had like a bunch of mini stories. It was kind of stupid.
I think I tried to go for the black style of storytelling. You know, with that old PS2, Xbox, Criterion first-person shooter that was their only shooter game before they became a part of the Need for Speed machine.
Just at this point, I'm sorry, Halo is no excuse to go. Oh man, I'm going to get me that Xbox. Got to get me them Halo games.
You know, I think it's funny. I will admit that Sony didn't really show that many exclusives in their press conference, but
They
like,
didn't need to.
yeah, but here's the thing: Microsoft exclusives that they showed, most of them did not look very good. Oh,
No, they
you
didn't.
forgot to mention Project Spark.
Yeah.
That poor man's Little Big Planet that had only like 3 options for everything.
Oh yeah, Project Spark. Forgot about that as well. Yeah, that was like a poor man's Little Big Planet.
Exactly.
That's one way to put Project
Hang on.
Spark.
Was anyone here a Halo fan in the past? I'm not going to berate you for it.
I
played.
like the games to a point. They can be fun, but I'm not really like a big Halo fan per se. You know.
I don't get it.
I honestly never played a Halo game in my life. I never understood the appeal.
I don't get it.
There is one thing that I think the Halo series, it was after GoldenEye. There was no. Halo was the only first-person shooter I ever saw that had split screen, that you could do split screen multiplayer.
I think
So you could get 4 people all playing together on one system.
Red Faction
So
did it too.
it had that going for it, where you could get 4 people sitting next to each other playing a shooter game, and there's something to be said for that.
Yeah,
you know?
true. I'll be honest. I've played and enjoyed the first 2 Halo games, but I did not pick up a 360 because Halo was really the only game that I liked on the Xbox.
Yeah, that's the point, though. People are going to buy this console just for the Halo game. That I do not understand.
Well,
and
let's be honest. For the original Xbox, that's kind of it happened for that system as well. Halo was the system seller for that
At this
system.
point, I can't see that being the system seller, and yet for people, that is the system seller. Oh man, yeah, Sony looks so good, but man, I gotta get me that Halo.
Yeah, if you guys want to
it's
get,
just like, it's without Bungie. I don't think it really works then.
yeah,
But Bungie gave up on this franchise to go to Activision and Sony. Does that not say anything to you, Xbox fans?
And-
anything?
and also I have to add to this, and this is a bit foreshadowing, but with what they showed with Destiny, the new Bungie game, I'm willing to break my Activision boycott.
Yeah, dude, the fucking Bungie showed what they could do when they were taken away from the Halo game. Holy hell.
But that's foreshadowing, so.
Yeah, that's foreshadowing, but fucking
Well, also
hell.
a bit. Well, do you want to? And also a little bit more foreshadowing. It says something when a shooter game based off of a tower defense game still has its charm, yet Dead Rising 3 does not. Yes, I'm talking about Plants vs. Zombies: Garden Warfare.
Yeah, well, that's another one. But yeah, then the release date and the price came, and it would be available worldwide in November for $499 €499 or 400 and how many was it pounds?
29.
£29. This console.
No.
No.
Just no.
By the way,
that's
did we
just-
bring up
no.
the fact that did we bring up the technical difficulties?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
what
yeah.
was that? Technical difficulties.
First of all, one of the
Dragoon,
Panzer Dragoon trailer didn't have sound, and the other one
Yeah, and
was
also this-
Battlefield 4, the
Oh,
biggest
yeah,
fail of the
Battlefield
night.
4. That was the biggest fail of the night. It went off for like 5 minutes, and I remember reading the comment that said, like, this is what it's going to be like to try and play Xbox games through the cloud.
yeah, and also the Panzer
Let's not
Panzer
also
Dragoon
mention
in
they
mechanics only game is pretty much a 360 game that they decided to have as an Xbox One exclusive.
I also want to mention how like when they did the Xbox reveal, they were so deathly afraid of technical difficulties with the voice function that someone pointed out and had a really good eye. Some people had really good eyes and found out that every time the guy was like telling the Xbox to do this and do that, the Xbox voice commands, he was using a clicker the whole fucking time, which either says one of two things. Yeah, one, they were just afraid that the voice commands weren't going to function as well as they hoped, or two, false advertising and it doesn't work at all.
Well, also I think they also had like an exclusive sit down with Wired, and they did show how the Kinect worked in full, and it took it like a good 5 seconds to understand your commands.
It's just
Like 3 to 5 seconds.
yeah. Okay, let's just get over.
And it did.
This is
Yeah,
$500.
What about the? Should you mention? Did you guys mention a lot of the Kinect bullshit they're doing?
Yeah, well, this is what I'm going to go over now. This is $500 you're investing into a console. All of the games they've showed us for this console are either boring, generic, rip-offs of a different genre, or Halo, which kind of
or more Kinect bullshit.
or more Kinect bullshit. Oh,
And also, guys, here's the thing. A lot of people saying, oh yeah, but Xbox has a lot of exclusives. Yeah, a lot of the games that they showed were also available on like the PC or the Xbox 360, and some were available on the PS4. And in that case, if you have the chance to buy two systems, most of them have the same games. Which one would you buy? The $500
PS4.
one or the $400 one?
And it's like, it's like $500. So none of the games I was interested in. Halo, I'm sorry, Halo fans, is not a console buyer. If you buy your console just for Halo, you've wasted your money. Okay, if you buy the console in the first place, you've wasted your money. Why? Because not only do you have to pay $500 to get the console, you're going to go and have to ask your cable company to give you permission to install it because of the TV function. Then you're going to have to pay a guy that they send out $60, $70 maybe to help you install it. Okay, so you're paying extra for that. Then you have to go and buy your games, which, by the way, you can only share once with a friend who's been on your friends list for at least 30 days. The Kinect has to always be on, which means it watches you and can report you to Microsoft if you have more than the maximum amount of people it says should be in a room at once.
Actually, the Kinect actually was said that the Kinect does. They have actually made it so the Kinect does not actually have to be always on. It can be disabled.
Me trusting Microsoft as far as I could throw Steve Ballmer, I don't trust that at all.
I don't trust that at all. And you have to check in online every 24 hours. If you don't check in, your games will lock and your console becomes useless.
It becomes a DVD player.
It becomes a DVD player and a
Blu-ray.
TV box.
Yep.
And also, going back to the TV box thing, it does not understand the channel commands.
Doesn't understand channel command. Used
So you
games.
cannot say Xbox channel 13 and it will switch to channel 13.
It does not allow used
that
games.
large sit down.
It does not allow used games. All games are linked to your account. You don't even have full ownership.
Well, used games will be available only at participating retailers.
Only participating retailers. So basically, GameStop.
Maybe like Best Buy.
Games will be
Or
linked.
Target
Yeah, games will be linked to your account. You don't even have full ownership of the console or the games, even though you've paid for them. Why?
It's region locked.
It's region locked.
Region lock, yeah.
There's a very small hard drive. It's 500 megabytes, and not only can you not remove the hard drive and install a bigger one,
I got
you can't even through like a USB port attach like an external hard drive.
Though there's one thing that I want to clarify. Sony also has a 500 gigabyte hard drive, but the thing is that like you don't have to install every game on it, so it's technically bigger in that sense.
You know, I think the pricing's just such a bad idea. Like $500, because like for $500 with the PS4, you can not only buy a PS4, buy one game, but you can also buy 8 months worth of PlayStation Plus, which will give you a bunch of free games.
That's a good deal.
so-
And by the way, that's like
that's a pretty.
3 games a month. That's not bad. Like,
That's not bad.
Yeah.
But Xbox, it's a restrictive as hell console. And let's just say, do the check-in. You're like, you know what, I'll be willing to do the check-ins. You know what, I can put up with all this. Your internet goes off. You have to, maybe let's say you have to change internet providers. Or let's say your internet just malfunctions and you lose internet for a day. You ain't getting your console. It ain't gonna work. You've lost your gaming privileges.
Mm-hmm.
You have to move your house. You've lost your gaming privileges because moving house takes a long time. And you might be without internet for more than a day. You've lost your gaming privileges.
Yeah.
What
Well,
you know?
see,
What I
it's-
think
it's
Microsoft.
just-
What I think Microsoft really needs to do is they need to put in because with this function, like we've been saying, your console becomes a fucking brick. It's useless.
It becomes a brick.
I mean, like
Hello.
they really need to define this better. And honestly, Microsoft would be monumentally stupid to not institute some kind of way. So if you fail to check in, to somehow like be able to still use your console for gaming, even if one of your check-ins fails. There needs to be some kind of backup system in place.
Yeah,
So
See, here's the thing. The biggest problem I have with the whole idea is that what it reeks of is mistrust of the consumer. And it's
Yes,
not...
it does.
Yeah, it's not thinking about the customer. It's not thinking about the people who are going to buy your system.
You're
It's just
treating-
thinking about themselves.
you're treating your own fan base like they're criminals. Like, honestly, they are.
Also, I have to say to the publishers,
Honestly, the
I
more
remember you
open
guys
and honest...
not complete.
Sorry.
I was going to say that I remember you guys not complaining about used games until this generation when game development costs skyrocketed pretty much.
Well,
and I
look,
have to say, I don't think used games are your problem. I think your development budgets are.
Honestly,
development and
the only
marketing budget.
the only reason that they're like thinking that used games is starting to kill them is because they're not getting that much money back on their games anymore because they're dumping so much money into it. Why do you think
Yeah,
people
that's
still make?
what I was
Why do you
saying,
think
Alex.
why do you think indie devs make so much profit off big, deep discount Steam sales? Because they don't spend that much making their game by comparison.
I think
You see-
if
you
I
see-
remember correctly, Binding of Isaac made like $5 million for Edmund McMillan.
Yeah, but I bet he made it under like 20,000.
Well, you see,
Yeah.
one of the big problems with this is that they're blocking used games, but at the same time they're really trying to push DLC. Now, I thought
Yes.
DLC was around because, it gives people a way to actually profitize on used games.
DLC makes sense. I just wish it was like worthwhile DLC.
Ah!
He's being attacked by a phone.
Yeah,
I just
But,
want the DLC to make sense. Like, look at these cool things you didn't have.
Yeah, I want DLC to be more like the old PC expansion packs, where they added a lot of shit to the game, like Civ 4 had Beyond the Sword where it added more random elements to the game, or like some of the expansion packs for The Sims 1, not Sims 2 or 3, because
Like,
those didn't
fucking
really
Rome
have that
Total War
that
had
much,
two awesome expansions. Like, there was one that let you play the entire campaign as King Alexander, and the other one was like all about the roaming barbarians and shit. Those are good expansions, though. They added new shit that you didn't have. Like, hey, we have this game and we have this engine, but look at these cool things you can do that you couldn't do before. That sells.
My point is, after everything that happened last night, if you weren't sure about Xbox One, if you're and this is another point I want to actually make, long-time Xbox fans after last night went to pre-order PS4s.
Yep.
Yeah, and also Angry Joe is going to jump over to the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Angry fucking Joe.
Yeah, he was one of the biggest Xbox fans.
He loved the Xbox. He would do anything on the Xbox if he had the chance.
Angry Joe likes more, like, if there's one thing that Angry Joe likes more than Xbox, it's getting pissed off about companies' bullshit.
Yeah, that too.
Like, that's the thing. Like, he doesn't like. I mean, I think at least Angry Joe's able to see through the bullshit that Microsoft has with the Xbox One.
But at this point, knowing everything you know that Microsoft's implemented into this console, why would you buy it? Why would anybody waste their money into this brick? And people are going to do it in forums and that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a PS4, and then I'm going to save up and get an Xbox One. Why? Why? Why would you?
And let me just say to the people, this really pisses me off. Honestly, it's like the people the people. There's two groups of people out there that bug me. One isn't as bad, but the other is worse. The other is really bad. There's one group that will complain to high heaven about what the Xbox is doing, but they're still going to buy it.
Still going to buy it.
And then there's the group that are defending it. I got news for both camps. When you get this system and then you turn around and actually start complaining, shut your fucking mouth. You have no room to bitch.
If anyone busts out the money for this console, you have zero right to complain. I don't care what Xbox does to you as a consumer. I don't care what they do to your games. You put the money into this, it's your own fault. I ain't even gonna risk thinking about getting this console. Let's say I was a huge Xbox fan, I wouldn't even second guess myself. I'd be like, yeah, PS4.
I just love the segment at the Sony press conference where they basically just said fuck Microsoft.
Yeah, basically, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
think we can, guys. I think just to be like, in the interest of time, we should just kind of briefly go over the EA and Ubisoft press conferences, because I think that, like, there really wasn't. I mean, I think this, like, the best way we can sum up both press conferences is easily that they didn't focus on the right things.
Each conference. We need to go through each conference. We're right. Okay, so EA's conference. But if you're thinking of getting an Xbox One, you're a moron. It's simple as that. And I don't care how insulted you are by that. You're a moron if you're thinking about getting an Xbox One.
We kick off the EA conference with Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
Which I think is pretty funny.
Which is pretty fun.
I like that they actually kept the charm from the original game.
Yeah.
That says something. EA, one of the most soulless corporations around, and has won Golden Poop twice for 2 years in a row, has game more soul that keeps the same soul as its original game than Dead Rising 3.
Yes. Because I think they realized that Plants vs. Zombies really, like, how would you make a serious version of Plants vs. Zombies? Like, answer me that.
A shooter version, you just pretty much add in all the charm. That's my best way of making a Plants vs Zombies shooter.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looked
like
interesting.
just like imagine nobody could take the title is Plants vs Zombies. There's really nothing you can do with that except making it completely ridiculous.
The guy that came out to talk about it, what a douchebag.
Yeah.
What a douchebag.
And also, I have to say that I think the EA is one of the publishers that got paid off by Microsoft to keep silent about this being a. I mean, they paid EA to say that that Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare is an Xbox exclusive because it later came out that it's going to be on PC as well, and there might be leaning it's going to be also on the PlayStation consoles.
Yeah, I forgot about those rumors. Yeah, rumors were that Xbox was paying a lot of people off, not to mention that they were in cahoots with Sony. And everyone that they did pay off, or maybe that according to
you mean Microsoft? Don't you mean Microsoft?
Yeah, everyone Microsoft, paid off. It's now, like EA, it's now coming out that actually, the game's not an exclusive. So good job wasting your money, Microsoft.
Yeah, but see, I mean, and then PopCap announced.
It's one of those things where like even it's like even EA is noticing the reactions or the stocks and all. They're noticing everything that's going on, and even EA is backing out of it.
EA's not dumb. It might be extremely evil. It might be one of the most evil gaming companies out there, but it ain't dumb. It knows when to back out.
It's evil because they do business a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, pretty much.
And honestly, I think this was a good way to
if you're gonna work with EA, just remember you're consumers, not customers.
Yeah, but see, then the thing is about I think they did a good job with this opening because I think it went away to kind of give back some of the goodwill that they burned away of being sold as corporate douchebags, which they still are. But at least they're willing to they're not taking companies and just stripping away everything unique about games in order to rush out a really hastily finished product. Like at least EA still gives some creativity to some companies.
Yeah, and also going on that, I just hope that Garden Warfare is not buggy as all hell.
Also, the guy announced Peggle 2, and he flipped the fuck out when he did it. Like, he jumped into the air.
I know,
like,
he announced
yeah!
I didn't even know he was announcing Peggle 2. It just looked like he was being a douchebag, and randomly in the background, this freaking rainbow pops up with a number 2 on it, and I'm just like, well, that was fucking random.
Yeah, it's Peggle 2. And people were pretty excited about that, but they only gave him 5 seconds, which is going to be a running theme throughout the press conference.
Peggle's kind of fun on your board, but still.
It's just they announced it in the weirdest way. I didn't even know they were announcing a game. I just thought he was being a douchebag. I just thought they decided to put a random rainbow up while this guy jumped in the air, because he did a big jump in the air, threw his fist in the air, and then this rainbow popped up behind him. So I just thought.
And Ode to Joy.
And Ode to Joy played, and I'm like.
Which is actually which is actually the end tune for whenever you beat a level 2 Peggle.
And Peggle Knights. Just like, okay, that was random.
Actually, I think they used the same exact version that was in Peggle. For the Peggle 2 announcement.
You know what? I think PopCap did a good job kind of showing their product. I think Garden Warfare did a good job kind of getting everyone introduced to the game, and it might be on my radar, it might not be.
Honestly,
we'll see.
Like PopCap games, you know what they do.
Sorry.
You know what they do. They do it well, and they don't rip you off when you do it. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're just there.
Yeah. So that was PopCap.
Then we get to
Titanfall.
We get a second look at Titanfall. We've already gone into that. It just showed basically a trailer, and
then next though, I think next comes one of the biggest missteps of the conference.
Yeah, it was so weird. The transition here, especially, so we're just sitting here watching the EA conference, and we're like, oh god, this looks like it's going to be a bad conference. Dude acting like a douchebag, Titanfall, and then out of nowhere.
We saw this trailer, and it's like this dude walking through an icy place. I'm like, oh god, it's Battlefield 4, isn't it? Because it was made by DICE, and I'm like, oh, it's Battlefield 4. And what it turned out to be was a teaser trailer for the newest Star Wars Battlefront game.
And we all marked the hell out.
Everyone marked the hell. This is like
Usually I'm
this is
pretty
big
calm.
news.
Usually I'm pretty calm and a little pessimistic on the game conference, but I was the first one who was like, "Holy shit!"
I know. I was like,
big fucking news. I mean, like, this is a really big deal because like, nobody thought Battlefront would ever get another game.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't Duke Nukem type, like, where it's all, Battlefront's in development forever. Nobody even knew that there was something in development for it.
DICE isn't a bad company, and I understand why there was only like a 10-second teaser. The fact that they just got the fucking license and Disney just sold a thing to
what
DICE.
confused me, though? What confused me was the transition from this, okay? So we get Titanfall, we get Star Wars Battlefront. I can see them transitioning from Titanfall to Battlefront, because you know what? They're both shooters, you know? And it was a teaser of Star Wars Battlefront. Then we go to Need for Speed.
Like, they showed the
this
trailer,
felt
and then it
like
was
a
just like,
huge-
okay, let's talk about Need for Speed. I'm just like,
Yeah, because they didn't even talk about the fact, like, they didn't have the guy, anybody from DICE come out and, like, do this brief thing saying, like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're making a fucking Battlefront game.
it's like, yeah,
and it's in development right now. We got the license.
It's like,
They just went straight to Need for Speed.
I would have
Yeah,
loved a guy.
Went on about Need for Speed for 20 minutes.
I would have loved a guy who just
Yeah,
come out and
20
say,
fucking minutes about Need for Speed.
Yeah, the whole Battlefront thing just felt like a huge, big-lipped alligator moment.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like,
just,
it came
I wish
out-
the
I
guy
mean-
from DICE just walked out and went, yeah, we're making it.
Or
like-
better yet, a guy from DICE transitioned into Battlefield 4.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Transition to another shooter game. But when you go from, like, teaser for Battlefront, all the nerds marking out, like, oh, yeah, Battlefront! And then, like, Need for Speed starts and everyone goes quiet.
Yeah, like, the funny thing is that, like, Need for Speed never really was the greatest racing game franchise, and it's only gotten worse as the years have gone on. But it's just funny how desperate they were trying to push Need for Speed Rivals.
I know.
Like,
We're continuing the police versus races, and we got this new twist. Single player, co-op, and competitive multiplayer are all blended together.
They're trying
It's
to do
starting to
this
become a
social.
thing
They're trying to
now.
do this social racing thing for the last like
Okay,
5
guys,
games.
guys, if there's anything that we can guarantee from this conference that the future is that we're going to start to see the lines between single player and multiplayer rapidly get blurred this next generation.
And then you're gonna have to pay
Sometimes
for
that's
it.
not a bad. Sometimes that's not a bad thing though, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, but they took 20 minutes for Need for Speed. It was just so boring. Then we got
They
something that
didn't even commentate. They just did a long race.
Yeah, they didn't even commentate. They just did a race without talking.
Yeah, it was watching someone play Need for Speed, which is about as exciting as watching somebody play NBA Live.
I know, it's like when you go on YouTube and, like, you actually see Let's Plays for that, and you think, wow, somebody actually Let's Played Need for Speed. It's, you can't believe it, but there you go. We then see what I'm interested in.
Same here.
Saw a trailer for Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, and I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, it didn't show...
Especially because Morrigan's back.
Yeah, it didn't show us much. It showed us that the world is being torn apart by demonic forces and the Darkspawn, and that Varric and Morrigan will be on hand for the adventure. And we also know that the Kunari are going to be there. And by the looks of it, it's a huge improvement over Dragon Age 2.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be open world.
It looks like a huge improvement over 2, which just took place in a city that had the same place used again.
Well, I thought that trailer was especially funny because, like, the bloke came out and it showed 4 slides of 4 completely different locations. I was like, wow, it's already more varied than Dragon Age 2.
I know, that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's already
Well, also it seems like they're taking, like, because I think that one of the biggest problems with Dragon Age 2 was that it was very rushed. And it looks like they're taking their time on this because it's not coming out until next fall.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think Dragon Age 2 came out after an 11-month period.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very bad rush job.
That was the very first thing I said to you, Nathan, when they showed those 3 slideshows. It was like, wow, it's already better than Dragon Age 2.
Yeah. So, all right, I have some hopes for Dragon Age Inquisition. I think this could be a good one.
And then
I think they're not going to fuck it up, honestly.
And then for another 10, 15 minutes, they showed us the EA Sports part of their conference.
Did you
Have
know
we
that you can
talked
dribble a
about,
basketball on guys? Did you know that you could dribble a basketball on NBA Live 14?
That was ridiculous. They dedicated like 5 minutes.
10 minutes.
Just to showing that you can dribble a basketball in NBA Live 14, really. I mean, look at that's all they focused on for most of their sports games.
Why
was
were they
player
focusing on
movement.
dribbling? I wasn't
Player
there.
movement. They were all about player. They're like, look,
guys,
it looks better.
I think the whole thing was supposed to take over their Ignite engine, which they're using for
Honestly,
Madden
They
25.
could have
NBA
cut that
Live.
segment down by like 20 minutes by going, "Hey, our games will have better animations now."
I know, like, we
Everyone
were
would be
so
like,
bored.
"Cool."
We were so
And also
bored.
probably show like a briefer snippet of it than the amount of
Yeah.
time that they.
And especially
dedicated to
funny,
this.
they got like the
None
point
of it was
guard for the
gameplay as
Cleveland
well, which was
Cavaliers.
annoying.
So I'm like, your endorsement spokesman is one of the major players of one of the worst franchises in basketball right now.
Oh, I know. They
That'd be like to sell your baseball game. You get the pitcher for the Chicago Cubs.
2K.
Actually, that would be a good idea because the Cubs actually have a huge fan base because of their loserness.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if
2K.
it's just like we decided to be as realistic as possible. This team sucks ass.
No. I think one person said this. I'm not sure who. It might have even been somebody on the chat. And they said that it did at least do a good job simulating the desperation of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
It's 2K is just, if you want to get a basketball game, get NBA 2K. Don't get.
Funny about foreshadowing again, but when they showed off NBA 2K, they had LeBron James.
Yeah, they have
Really
LeBron.
frightening.
James.
LeBron
That's just as bad because they started to boo him.
Well,
Really frightening
but
LeBron
then he
James.
is a scrappy. But then again, he is probably like. But then
He's
again,
one of the
he is.
best players in the game today, but just nobody likes him.
Nobody
He's
likes
one
him.
of the best
Yeah.
players in the game, but he's also a huge prick.
He's also a huge.
He's a huge egomaniacal prick too.
I
So
did
The
find
only-
it funny
the
though when it had
only-
him talking and then had his floppy face in CGI.
oh god, that was so creepy.
The only the only
I haven't seen facial overacting like that ever since Sonic Adventure.
Yeah. But anyway, the only thing interesting with EA Sports was EA UFC.
Yeah, they got Bruce Buffer to come out and introduce like the guys like it was a UFC match.
Yeah,
hard
he
to not get
introduced
excited
Dana
when he does
White,
that, by the way.
He introduced like Dana White. Their names escape me, but
By
the
the way-
lightweight and the bantamweight champion of UFC,
By
I
the
believe,
way,
and the developers.
Remember some of the shit that Dana White said about EA, where he just shitted on them for making EA MMA?
Well,
He seems to turn
that
around
was
pretty
back
quick.
when. But guys, that was back when THQ was still a company. So
That
it's
was back
different.
when THQ was doing UFC Undisputed, and suddenly when EA Sports is like, "Meh, we've got UFC as well, bitch." Dana
Yeah.
White's like, "Oh hey, hi, yeah."
I think
The thing is, Dana
No, I
White's
think
the
what
kind of
happened-
guy. He'll talk so much shit, but he'll easily go back on his beliefs if it means it's good for business.
It's like, hey, EA sucks. We have UFC now. Sucky $5.
Well, I
Yeah,
have to say that I think the reason why that EA ended up getting the rights is because THQ was starting to lose some money at that point, and they couldn't afford to keep the UFC license, so they
Yeah.
sold it to EA.
Yeah. Well, and THQ's bankrupt now. I mean, they're really, and the only other company that made an MMA game was EA. So
Yeah.
they really had nowhere else to go.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, right? When Bruce Buffer's out doing his usual stuff, try not just see if you can actually not be excited. It's
I was
impossible.
down
not
on
to
this
be
entire
excited.
conference, and then he came out, and I was just like, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bruce Buffer.
because the thing is, Bruce Buffer could introduce the man that's about to murder you, and you'd be excited for it.
Dude,
yeah, let's go.
dude.
Like,
Dude,
like,
you
yeah,
can-
yeah, like, he'd
you
be
can
like,
have-
"And he's got a giant butcher knife, and he's gonna drive it through your head." Like,
No, literally, you
yeah.
can give him a box of cake mix and have him read off the ingredients, and he'll still get excited.
you could have him read the
Exit
instructions.
flower!
Guys, he could read the instructions for fixing your water heater, and he could still make it sound totally awesome.
And then we got Battlefield for the second time, except this time they saw multiplayer mode. And as always, Battlefield has good multiplayer.
Battlefield
mode.
isn't a bad franchise. It's just they probably have a shitty story mode.
They have shitty
So
story.
the thing is that they're trying too hard to be to be Call of Duty instead of trying to carve out their own voice.
I mean,
But to be honest,
yeah,
though,
And like,
I have to agree
and the
with you,
multiplayer
there, Meg.
mode
And this,
is a lot more subdued, and that actually works.
Yeah.
yeah, they introduced a new commander mode that can issue
'Cause
orders.
just- Like in the Xbox 360 section, it was like a fucking entire boat collapsing while you're having a gunfight, and that looked boring. But this was just like doing a tactical mission in a skyscraper, and it was just like, this is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and like
but
and
it was
we had
especially
some
cool when they managed to blow up the skyscraper though, and they had to escape it. That was the coolest part, I thought. of that.
I love that base
but
jumping
it kind
part.
of worked. I mean, I don't know. I think that like the thing about Battlefield is that I wish they were going in the direction that Bad Company set out instead of like the direction they're going in now. But honestly, because like that was so much more fun.
Honestly,
But, like,
when
I
it
guess,
comes
like-
to like being in a war, if you're not in combat, it's okay to buddy around a little bit, because why the hell not? You're in a
Yeah, you need a little bit of
because you're
happiness.
still a few
Yeah,
fucking
like-
human being in a war.
Yeah, I know. Because I think most soldiers tend to like at least have some moments where like they have to not be so serious and like. But you know what? If gun to my head, if somebody approached me on the street and like put a gun to my face and said, "You're gonna buy a first-person shooter game, bitch," I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy Battlefield then.
No, I'd buy BioShock.
Okay, you have to buy a military first-person shooter then.
Oh, does Killzone count?
No.
I was gonna say Arma,
Okay.
because I really like Arma.
Okay, that's.
But
fair.
It has to be a here. How about this? You have to buy a military first-person shooter on disc.
No, you have to. Okay, fine. I'll use it. I'll take a quote from Monty. You have to buy a Spunk Gargle Wee Wee game. Pick one.
Honestly, when it
Uh.
comes to that kind of game, I think Battlefield is a bit better than Call of Duty. So yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
edges out.
yeah,
it's not as bad.
And the multiplayer show off ends with them blowing up the skyscraper and it gets brought down, and that was actually quite impressive.
Yeah. Of course,
and
the
I'm
base
surprised
jumping
Commander-
stuff is like
more than yeah.
And the thing is, the commander mode is actually an interesting idea. Like how they have somebody using the smart glass tablet to issue orders, and I think
I thought
that's
it was
kind of
also
a.
Yeah, I guess the functionality's okay if it actually offers something interesting, like
Yeah.
being able to look at an overhead map and go, okay, so there's people coming on your right.
Yeah, like guard the left flank. We're a little weak over there, and there's.
And I
there's
imagine for the PS4 they'll use like
Honestly,
the touch
it
screen
feels like that
control.
you could just play through the mission just by playing it normally, because I wish it was that tactical.
Yeah, well, I imagine for the PS4 they'll use like the touch screen on the controller for commander mode.
Then
I kind
again, there.
of wish there was a commander mode that was just in the game, but
Yeah, and then they wrapped it up with showing the trailer for the Mirror's Edge game.
and apparently it
That's
isn't
Which
a
was
That
pretty
looked
much,
it's a reboot.
It's
What?
a reboot of the
but
original
still,
Mirror's Edge. Yeah.
but still, it was
It
pretty
still
much
looks like
this year's Watch Dogs.
That's the.
Dude,
That's
this
not-
year's
I think
Watch
that's,
Dogs is
I think
Watch
that's-
Dogs.
I think that this year's Watch Dogs might be that. I can't remember its name.
The Last of Us?
No, not
it was
the Last of
that
Us
Destiny?
is already
that
out.
played a bit like
It's the surprise game, the game that he weren't expecting.
Oh, Battlefield.
I think-
no, it was
Battlefield.
Tom Clancy something.
Or
The
it was
Division.
that.
Division.
Or it was.
Tom Clancy.
Or it was that steampunky thing that started the Sony conference.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh right,
The Order 1886.
1886.
Yeah, that looked good.
So EA ended on
Or it
Mirror's
was that
Edge.
MMO shooter thing.
Yeah, EA ended on Mirror's Edge. All in all, it was a pretty console because the only things I was interested in were Battlefront and Dragon Age and EA UFC. The rest of it I didn't really give a damn about.
I didn't
I-
really care about EA.
It was miles better than Microsoft because it had some games that I was interested in, including Garden Warfare, Peggle 2, Battlefront, Mirror's Edge 2, and
That's not Mirror's Edge 2, it's just a reboot of Mirror's Edge.
well, I'm still calling it Mirror's Edge 2 because
Mirror's
it's way
Edge,
too
okay.
soon to.
Honestly, I just hope it's like Mirror's Edge, but just longer, because the game was fine. It was just short.
Here, I'll call it this. I'll call the
Honestly,
new Mirror's Edge game this: Mirror's Edge Plus.
I played a demo of Mirror's Edge and just it didn't care for it at all.
I thought it was pretty
It
cool.
isn't everyone's kind of game.
It's not everyone's game. Yeah,
I
that's
like it.
understandable.
But like I said,
It's,
it's
Mirror's Edge is one of those games that you either like or hate.
Yeah, there's no in between with Mirror's Edge. Then we go
Much
to
like dubstep.
then we go to without a doubt. Without a doubt the most boring conference of the night.
Oh god.
This conference, they showed so many games, and yet it was so boring.
Because
Yes.
all the games were so bad, like mediocre or just bad.
It's just like,
Yeah, like, it was like-
there was so
it was
little
like-
gameplay. It was just all trailers as well, and then someone would come out and talk for like 15 minutes, just non
Yeah, and they weren't even good trailers too. Like we already know about most of these games. It was like Rayman Legends,
Which
Watch
conference?
Dogs.
Guys, maybe you should specify which conference you're talking about.
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Okay.
But then again, guys, I said this right before the conference. Ubisoft always has the most boring conference.
They're always
Ubisoft
either
can
boring
not
or really
present.
weird.
Ubisoft-
Were they the
One
ones
sec.
that hired fucking Tobuscus and he like ruined the show?
Yeah, Ubisoft.
Oh, wasn't that the guy that kept on pronouncing it Tom Clancy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Like
Yeah,
I think it was last
bad.
E3 and he tried to like put humor in front of everything and it's just like, wow, you suck.
Yeah.
I had to say that one of the bonuses of this E3 is that they brought back Aisha Taylor, but no Tobuscus.
Like, but no, the thing is, like, Aisha Taylor, like, she tried to be, like, all hilarious and funny with the audience. She completely bombed. Like, there
Yeah,
was, like,
she
just
did.
complete and utter silence at all her attempts at humor.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, her shirt, like, they were focusing on a little joke that she made last year, like, with hashtag Girlwood, and I have no idea what the joke is.
Oh,
Yeah,
pretty much.
I was kind of left floating on that one.
Yeah, I can explain because I watched it last year. Apparently, one game she mentioned Girl World, and now they're trying to make it the Connect for her. You know, where they're trying to make it a thing.
They're trying to be
Right.
trendy and it's not working and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Right,
we-
and then...
So Ubisoft has their own Connect now.
And then, out of nowhere, out comes Jerry Cantrell, the front man for Alice in Chains.
I did not recognize him. His
I
hair
didn't
is so
recognize
short.
him, and I'm sorry, but Alice in Chains hasn't been good since... What was the guy's name that died?
Lane
Lane
Staley.
Stanley.
Yeah, it's... Like, I'm sorry, it's not been good since...
Actually, there's a lot of people who would argue that you're completely wrong.
Like the new singer's
I
okay,
think
but
that Alice in Chains, they're good. They're just not relevant.
it's
and they're
just
not relevant.
like the new singer's
Yeah,
okay.
I was kind of
but it's
wondering
just-
about that. I was like, well,
I mean, I like that they put Alice in Chains... I mean, they're demoing Rocksmith, by the way. It teaches you how to play guitar. And,
That's
but-
pretty cool, but they
Yeah.
had that already.
At least to Jerry Cantrell at least he didn't fail playing his own song.
yeah, I know, if he failed playing... First of all, it's Man in a Box. It's my favorite Alice in Chains song.
Yeah, that's a great song.
It's a
Yeah.
great song from Alice in Chains.
I heard some of their new stuff. It's not as good, but it's
Yeah,
still
if he
like,
messed
not
up-
bad.
Still pretty good, I think.
It's
I
not.
thought
I
Black
said
Gives
not
Good
as
was
good,
a
but
pretty
not
good
bad.
album.
Yeah, no, yeah. First of all, like, if he messed up...
Well, Man in Backs is a good song. I think it tends to be a bit overplayed.
Let's not talk about Alice in Chains, okay?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, if he messed up his own song, that would have been stupid, especially since it was Man in a Box. The demo apparently did a bad job of showing that it taught you to play guitar. I mean,
Yeah. It felt.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that he was playing a game. I just thought it's like, hey, here's Jerry Cantrell because we're really out of touch with what's relevant right now.
Apparently the game, the game will auto-accompany your guitar playing with drum, synth, and other instruments. And, you know, you strum away and the game will back you up to make you sound, you know, like you're playing a rock song.
To be honest, though, they tried the fill in your own music before. Ever heard of the Songsmith from Microsoft?
No.
It's amazing. What they did is they took the vocal track from Black by Metallica, like Blackened by Metallica, and it played a polka fucking western song over it.
Did it sound horrible?
Yes, I'm gonna show you the video later. It's like ding ding ding
Oh
ding 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 ding
Jesus.
ding ding
Okay.
ding.
Let's actually just keep moving because.
Yeah,
This-
and then we get trailers galore as we get a gameplay free trailer for Splinter Cell Blacklist, which comes out August 20th.
Yeah, so they should, i.e., they should really show gameplay so that they can get some last-minute buys.
Then they show a trailer for Rayman Legends, which will be out on September 3rd, boasting over 120 levels, no gameplay.
I don't give a shit about Rayman either. I don't think anyone has
and
for a
they
long
should-
I'm
time.
thinking about getting.
uh,
I'm still thinking about getting Legends with my U when I get
Honestly,
it for Christmas.
Rayman Legends looks pretty good. I might actually download it on the PS3.
Yeah, then they showed the trailer for the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, which again showed no...
That looked funny.
I looked
Actually,
at
they showed
I
some-
looked
that was
at the
a funny
game.
trailer.
I looked some of the gameplay footage and screenshots. It's kind of like a Torchlight clone.
Well, it's both Torchlight and Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah, it's a
Dungeon
mixture
Keeper
of
put
Torchlight
together.
and Dungeon Keeper, or Diablo and Dungeon Keeper, but like lighthearted.
Yeah, we thought it was for kids, and then at the end it does a bunch of bleeped out swearing, and then we're like, oh, okay, maybe not.
yeah, the Epic Quest for, the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, that was it.
Yeah, and then they showed a trailer for South Park: The Stick of Truth, which will probably be out this holiday, but it did not feature any gameplay footage.
Yeah,
and also-
it's gonna be out
there's-
this holiday season, or
I saw a
some
little bit of
holiday
gameplay
season.
footage, and actually it just looks like a South Park episode. It's not that hard to replicate.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so-
that's
And
because
also-
South Park's really, really easy to animate.
Yeah, it's just like,
And also I
hey
had-
South Park guys, can you animate some stuff? And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And also, Ubisoft had their own little controversial moment with the Nagasaki joke.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, it's just like
Did they?
I've heard
Yeah,
that
the Nagasaki
I've heard that Trey Parker and Matt Stone can make a South Park episode in about 3 days.
yeah, they can.
Yes.
Yeah, look, guys,
It's
I've
because
studied
the
it.
animation is
It's
literally
very
that
easy.
easy.
You forget I study animation at university here.
And then they show us.
No, but like the animation in South Park's easy to do, unlike the animations of other shows.
Then they show
Yeah,
us.
Super My
I
Little
made
Pony.
a South Park episode. It's that easy.
Yeah, then they
Yeah.
show us The Crew, which was an open-world driving game that takes place in a persistent online world, but
It
you can
looked-
play solo if you want.
It looked really cool. Like they had a miniature version of America you could drive all the way across.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the goal is to infiltrate and take over criminal organizations one city at
Yeah.
a time.
It
That was
didn't look
that
bad,
was
actually.
pretty
It kinda
cool.
looks
And they
it
like
was-
had a co-op
I-
gameplay, but they all sucked at driving.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Then they
But you know
showed
what?
us.
At least it's an accurate demo as to like how the game actually winds up. Like just all you guys suck at driving, but you still have fun anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
th-
also,
it
but then
looked
again,
cool.
also the mission that they showed that was a takedown mission where you had to crash another car.
then they
Yeah.
So
showed
it's why
us.
you went off-roading sometimes
Yeah.
because their target went off-roading too.
Then they
and-
showed us the trailer for Watch Dogs, and God, I want this game.
Yeah.
Oh, Watch
Yeah.
Dogs looked amazing.
I want what they didn't show us any gameplay, but we got to see that
No,
later on
they-
in the night.
Oh yeah. that
And
was
also
it.
the trailer was pretty cool. It's like it kind of gave us an idea of what the game actually is gonna be.
Yeah, I want that game so badly. And then
Yeah, and it looks like the trailer kind of gave the implication that this guy is kind of like a vigilante and like goes after people who are accused of crimes and like tries to find a way to draw them out to get them arrested. Like that's kind of like the implication that I can see of it.
yeah.
Yeah, Watch Dogs looks awesome.
Yeah, Watch Dogs trailer was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting that. And then we saw Just Dance 2014,
And
and
just
the
say,
game features a bunch of new modes, but other than 6-player dancers, it didn't make it clear what
It's
those
just a
features.
dancing-
Guys,
it's just
it
a
had a
dancing
powerhouse
game.
soundtrack too. Pitbull, Nicki Minaj, David Guetta, Ollie Murs, One Direction.
I know. I
all
know.
the
I
music
think
I
it was
don't want
Nathan-
to listen to.
I think it was
Yeah.
Nathan that said so. Not a single good song on this game.
No, there's probably gonna be like, I don't know. Maybe they might have the Macarena just to really piss everyone off.
Well, look,
I think
look,
I think it will
Dude, they
have
have-
Gangnam
they have-
Style
Yeah,
on
they had
it.
Gundam Style.
And
In
then
the-
they
in
showed.
the trailer, they just showed all of the music that people won't want to play.
And then they showed
The
us.
funny thing about Gangnam Style, you don't even need a game to play that. You just turn it on and everyone knows the dance.
Pretend you're riding a pony, okay?
Well,
It's literally 3 steps.
Well, also, Gangnam Style is not really a new thing in dancing games. It came in Dance Central first.
Yeah, it did.
Plus,
And,
like,
DLC.
just
yeah.
turn it on in a crowded room and everyone will do the dance.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
at least the Gallop step.
Yeah.
At least all the people that like that shit will do the dance. Everyone else will go turn that fucking shit off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
then,
sick of that
and
song.
then but then like, well, no, like, cause see, eventually it'll just be like one of those things. It's like, well, I guess everyone else is doing the dance, and then there's gonna be that one person that kind of like awkwardly flails his arms around and trying to match the steps.
And then we see their interactive TV show that's coming to Nickelodeon.
Wait, hey guys, let me say this
God.
really quick. Let me say this real quick, and this goes to all tech companies. Just because Microsoft does it, doesn't mean you have to. Just
And
because
also-
Windows
This might have
8
been the
is
most
mostly flat, guys, let me continue.
No.
Just because Windows 8 is mostly flat doesn't mean you have to make your UI flat. Just because you're doing interactive TV doesn't mean you have to do interactive TV.
This was
I'm
just
done.
the most repulsive thing I've seen. It's
I
just
know,
like,
they took
it's
Rabid.
awful. Nobody wants
Fucking
it.
Rabid.
Not even
Like,
the children.
Rabid.
Nobody likes them.
I said it reminded me of those old interactive Sega CD games where like the thing would go and like you'd click and like there'd be like a little graphic or something to make it look like you'd done
Oh
something.
God, that's what it looked like. Oh God.
Yeah, it looked like an FMV game.
It looked like an animated FMV game.
Oh,
Also,
God.
I have to say,
Yeah, like
See, that was the
actually
bit where it
trying to-
said
they're
fun for all
they're
the
actually
family.
foolish enough to think that's going to work
Also,
again.
why did
that
people think
that idea is going to work in 2013 when it didn't work like 20
What?
years ago?
Yeah, no,
go ahead, Allie.
Allie,
Allie?
Allie.
Okay.
Okay, Allie doesn't want to talk. So
Okay then. Well, with the bit of the whole, it's fun for all the family. When did fun for all of the family become fun for just the kids and everyone else get annoyed as fuck by it?
Yeah, well, because guys, let's face it, it's like since the '90s, TV has become the new babysitter.
Pretty much. And also,
I know that was true for me.
I also have to say that a lot of the humor in this game is on the same level as Son of the Mask, and to quote a nostalgia critic joke, a family game.
Well,
Family video game.
it's just like, I get that it's supposed to be for kids, but kids don't just find constant poop jokes funny. Come on.
Yeah, like kids are smarter than you think they are.
Look
Give-
at my niece. As
Give them
creepy
a
as
little
that
more.
sounded.
Give them a little more than that, you know?
I know
Yeah,
Yeah, like give
kids
them
don't
some credit, man.
kids don't find
Just
like
like-
a rabbit putting on a thong and shaking his ass funny.
Or a rabbit with pasties on.
But this is just exactly the same as all of the Madagascar sequels, all of the and the Smurfs movie and all that. It's just a quick cash-in. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
I hope.
You know, I mean, nobody even liked the rabbits to begin with because they're like ugly, unfunny little creatures that just pollute everything that they're in.
And they
I mean,
pretty
it's
much
not like they're the minions from Despicable Me, because you know those are entertaining.
And
Yeah.
also,
They're
I have to
just
say
crap.
that the rabbits are pretty much made what Raymond did that ended up what happening to Spyro in the Skylander series. It pretty much made Rayman play second fiddle to the rabbits and
In his
going
own
to Skylander.
game.
Yes, and going back to Skylanders, pretty much they made Skylanders as with some Spyro reference in the first game, and then ever since then, Spyro's been playing second fiddle to the Skylanders.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Assassin's Creed 4. Now, Ubisoft did a terrible job for advertising their game. Sony did a great job for advertising Ubisoft's game. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag showed off no gameplay trailer. And I mean no gameplay trailer at all. They came out after the first trailer and said, we're going to show you an in-game footage trailer, but still showed no damn gameplay. So they
They played the game, didn't they?
No,
And
they
then
didn't.
It froze.
No, they didn't. That was
When
that was
when
Sony.
did they play the
That-
game?
that was
Because I know they
Sony.
did.
That was Sony.
Oh, that was Sony.
That was
Okay.
Sony. Yeah, Sony did a better
Oh yeah, because
job.
I remember because that was the worst part about their conference.
Sony did a better job advertising Assassin's Creed 4, even though the game froze. But no, they show a no gameplay trailer, and then they show an in-game footage trailer. Both of these trailers had, I like the band, but this does not scream pirates to me. Sigur
Yeah.
Rós.
I hate the band, and I know that it doesn't scream pirates for me.
And
Sigur
also,
Rós is
yeah,
folk
this-
song.
coming from a guy that loves his music and was doing a Stepmania Let's Play at one point, the music just really sounded dissonant to the whole game.
Yeah. I'm like, Sigur Rós, it's about as out of place as having Cannibal Corpse record the new Sims soundtrack.
It just makes
Although The Sims had a metal
Yeah,
metal
I know, but
station.
like the buy mode themes.
with
that's
a very funny Simless version of the Lightning.
it's
Yeah, but
just
see-
like it's just like
I
they
think it
have,
was
like,
called Ride the Llama
That's
in The
just,
Sims.
it's just they're having these like cannons fire off and sword fights, and like in the background there's just this calm, relaxing little folk music that can put you to sleep.
If
Yeah.
they're, they should have.
That entire conference was.
What would have
putting
been?
me to sleep.
What would have been kind of interesting is if they busted out Ailstorm. That would have fit.
And then they showed us the motorcycle racing and trick performing game Trials Fusion, and that they were going to have a mobile version called Trials Frontier, which will launch in 2.14, and the two games will interact somehow.
And they both
No,
looked pretty
I
bad.
did not even. I wasn't even trying to pay attention at that point.
And
I
then
think
and then they finished it off with Tom Clancy's The Division.
That actually
That
looks
looked
awesome.
great, actually. I
no,
really wanted to play
unfortunately,
that.
I
I
don't.
will criticize it for having an overly long initial trailer. I felt like because it
Yeah,
was
the trailer
3
at the
minutes
beginning
of
was
just
too long.
constant information, but I think
was
the
pretty much-
actual gameplay was pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was the first trailer was just an exposition jump.
Yeah, and that kind of didn't really work.
And the live demo was shown, and that was probably the only thing that actually showed off gameplay in the whole Ubisoft conference. Don't know
But it
why.
was good live gameplay. Like the thing is that I mean, for those who didn't see it, the Division, like what it looks like, is a massively multiplayer survival shooter. Like kind of like The Last of Us if it were massively multiplayer.
Or what Defiance was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Defiance was supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm excited to pick that up for my PS4 next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I might pick that up.
No, I mean I'm saying next year because, yeah, I'm going to ask for a PS4 for Christmas next year
Oh, could ask for one this year. And
because I'm already asking for a U for this year.
speaking of PS4, we come to the Sony press conference, and this was the
That
best.
was awesome.
This was so
glorious.
good.
This wasn't just the best conference. This was fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm still cleaning up.
Sony won E3 because nobody else was even playing.
They must have showed like 50 games in that conference.
They showed
Yeah.
a lot of games, and
Game
before
after
the
game
before the main
after-
show, they had a little pre-show, and you could just see the smugness that everyone in Sony had. Like everyone had this big, huge, shit-eating grin on their face. Like, hey, we're gonna take it over to the floor.
It's like they knew what they were about to show is just gonna mop the floor with everything.
It's
No,
like,
So there
I
was
wanna-
like it's like they weren't even hiding how confident they felt basically.
Yeah, they pretty much put it metaphorically. It's like they knew that they had the ace that they had, that they needed for the Royal Flush up their sleeve.
Now,
Yeah, but
they
see-
started off the conference. I think they actually formatted it really well, because the way it was formatted, they kind of got all the fluff out the way first. They said, look, we're going to keep focusing on the PS3 as well for now. Here's like...
Now that's a big. Let's not.
I know,
let's not-
I'm giving it briefly first, and then we go into detail. Let me finish. So they got all like the fluff out the way first. The stuff that people wanted to know, but not wanted to know more than about the PS4. The PS4 was what everyone wanted to know about, but they wanted to cover all aspects. So, like, look, we're still going to keep focus on the PS3.
Oh, and they showed off a load of games of PS3 as well.
Yeah, they did, and they said we're still.
Yeah, they have like about 100 games
Yeah.
on the docket for the PS3.
And we're still going to focus on Vita, and then they're like, then we'll cover briefly the entertainment side of things, because we know people do care about movies and that on the PS.
And they did that better than Xbox did.
I know,
which
and then
thought
they're
was
like,
hilarious.
now we're going to tell you about the games. So,
And there were some huge announcements with the games. Like, they had a pretty good trailer for Infamous Second Son. They had a really awesome reveal of this game called The Order 1886, which kind of looks like the steampunk type game.
With
Yeah.
some horror it has some horror elements too. If you've really paid attention to the misshapen shadows in the
Yeah.
mist.
And then there were some pretty big announcements too. They finally announced that Versus 13 it was not abandoned, but now they're just repackaging it as Final Fantasy 15. And
it
I
actually
honestly
looks good,
think
which is
that it
surprising.
didn't look too bad, honestly.
yeah. So it starts out with Jack Tretton coming out, and he introduces the fans, and I'll just say as well, like the little musical intro they had, and like the people in the square, triangle, circle, X, and that on the screen that they had accompanying their music, I like that. That was nice. And then Jack Tretton comes out, introduces the fans, and he goes into people are looking forward to PS4, but he says people also want to know about what we've got in store for PS3 and the PS Vita, and he decides to go. He tells how the PS Vita they want to focus on connecting that with the PS4 and the PS3 even more, and how the library of games that they've got will continue over to the PS for the Vita. So if you've already got it on Vita, it'll continue over PS4, and you'll get even more options for games given to you as well.
Actually, there is one thing. It really about this conference is there was a real lack of any real titles for Vita at all. Well,
it wasn't about the Vita, really, was it? They just
Yeah,
said
there
they've got
wasn't.
stuff in.
But there are people that were disappointed by that, and I agree. It's like almost Sony has forgot. It's like Sony themselves have forgotten that the Vita exists.
No, they haven't forgotten. They're going to make it more connected with the PS4. It's just that conference wasn't about the Vita. There's only so much you can fit into that time, dude. And
Well,
they
the
did
thing,
everything they
the
could.
thing is, Sony will always care about their handhelds. The problem is, very few consumers do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very few consumers do, and that's the problem. And then they showed PS3, and it's surprising that they've still got a load of games in store for PS3. There's some that are coming out for both PS4 and PS3, like Watch Dogs,
And Diablo 3.
Diablo 3.
Which is bound to be superior to the PC version.
They went
But also Blizzard announced before E3 that Diablo 3 will be coming out on the 360, but I don't think on the Xbox One, and it will and the last gen version, which I'm going to freely call it now, is going to be coming out in September.
Right.
And probably Diablo 3 will be a launch title for the PS4.
Right. And he talked about.
I just want to mention real quick the fact that basically we're not that this conference has showed a lot of PS3. It's it's basically encouraging. Don't throw away your PS3. We still got a lot of games for that. And when it came to the Xbox, there really was no mention of 360. It's almost like they're completely dropping support for that system.
Plus the games they have out for the PS3 and the games they have planned. It seems like they want the PS3 to go down in a blaze of glory because there was
it looks it really does.
I think Sony wants the PS3 to fade away, go down like how the PlayStation did with PS2 and PS2 did with the PlayStation 3.
Yeah. So they go over Grand Theft Auto 5 and they say how they've got this PS3 only for PS3 this bundle that's going to be released on September 17th for $299. Don't know how much that's going to be here in Britain, but it includes a custom Pulse headset, and I think it's with the console and the game. It's the console, the game, and
a very highly expensive pair of headset.
And a very expensive headset. So it's a console, the game, and a really expensive headset for $299. That's not bad.
I probably would just pick that up just to get a replacement for my current PS3 because my PS3 is a PS3 Fat.
You want to slim, do you?
Fat as well.
What?
And they also announced.
Well.
By announcing, they kind of showed a lot of trailers in a row. There was Puppeteer, Rain.
That looked interesting.
Yeah, they really did.
That did look interesting.
Rain.
Yeah, it did.
Rain looked very odd, but I think it looked cool.
I think
too.
Rain looked great.
Rain looked good, but it's made by Quantic Dream, and they can either hit out of the park or strike out when it comes to games.
Look, they sometimes do it in the same game.
And they
Sometimes it's like it's one of those things. It's like Quantic Dream.
Yeah.
They deliver good experiences, but they're very, very bad at making plots.
Like the
Look at Indigo Prophecy. It's like, oh, this is a really cool game. Wait, what the fuck's up with all this internet Mayan shit?
yeah, it was really good until the Mayan stuff started happening, and you were like,
Yeah,
why is the Mayans in there?
And
then
Heavy Rain is one of those things where there's good concepts that was just hampered by really shitty voice acting and some bad writing in a lot of places.
Jason!
Jason!
Then they showed The Last of Us. This game, The Last of Us, it's getting 10s across the board.
Last of Us. Yeah, it's one of the highest rated PS3 games right now.
I want that game.
Yeah, the only higher rated game was Grand Theft Auto 4, and let's face it, I really hated that game.
Yeah.
But still, the thought is still good. Critics that game.
It's from the people who made the Uncharted series, so you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, you know it's gonna be good.
They showed Batman Arkham Origins. I've got all the Batman Arkham.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah, gonna get that.
Arkham Origins looked awesome. It's got Deathstroke in it. Yeah, hells yeah.
Yeah, Black Mask.
And I think
Black Mask as well.
And I think it's going to look just as awesome too on the U. Maybe a little bit less awesome, but
yeah, definitely less awesome. Don't kid yourself.
yeah, but it's still going to look pretty good on the U.
Yeah, it still does look pretty good on the Wii U, actually. Like surprisingly enough.
They showed Beyond Two Souls. And
it actually looked
again,
more.
The only thing about Beyond Two Souls I will give it, that was a scarily accurate way to depiction of Willem Dafoe. Like,
yeah,
that motion capture was so perfectly, like, it looked exactly like him.
And also, I have to say that they showed off that maybe Beyond might be.
Did not look interesting at all, except for the fact that it had,
That game looked really interesting to me, but I liked.
Yeah, it actually looked like a game
really
of like Heavy
stuff,
Rain.
and I know that I'm the minority in that.
Yeah, like I think I'm taking it with a grain of salt. I'm still interested.
Yeah, it actually looked more like a game than what Heavy Rain did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
I don't know. I think the acting might be better because the lead character is Ellen Page, and she's actually a good actress. So.
And then they showed Gran Turismo 6 as well, and that's a good. That looked really good.
Yeah, that looked good.
Yeah,
for a racing game. I'm not a racing game fan, but it looked good.
I'm not a racing game fan at all. So.
Then they went on to. Then they went on to.
Racing. I'm not a simulation game, a racing game fan.
Yeah,
but you just like it to be bright colors and shit, Rocktan. God.
Yeah, and instead of like.
It doesn't have to be bright colors. I just want it to be. I just don't like simulation racing. That's it.
I like simulation racing a lot, but I like. I've always liked that type of thing.
And you'll probably love Gran Turismo 6, dude.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, which is actually.
You know what?
I should say I don't like realistic racing.
Yeah,
I was going to say that Gran Turismo 6 has a less of a gap between it and 5 than between 4 and 5.
I like arcade racers.
I'm in that boat too, Rocktan.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I can't even remember now. Oh well. Oh yeah. They then someone from Sony Entertainment came out to talk about like the entertainment aspects of the PS4, but instead
And
like
there were some good ones, I will admit. They had Redbox Instant, which I think is a pretty cool idea.
yeah, like
So now
instead of like Xbox, which is like, look, TV games, TV games. It's
this
like,
is
oh,
games,
Xbox,
TV, games.
yeah,
No, Xbox 360. No, that was TV, sports, TV, Call of
Yeah.
Duty, Call of Duty.
yeah.
Like that was.
And
I think
instead,
Roxanne
Sony
actually has that.
Entertainment came out just for like 5 minutes, and it's like, yeah, we know you guys like movies as well, so we'll keep Netflix with, we'll keep and one thing, you do have to pay for multiplayer now, but it is just multiplayer. Internet and like Netflix and stuff, that's still I will say technically free because you still have to pay for the internet through your internet provider, and you have to pay for Netflix through Netflix. But it's not like Xbox Live where you have to pay to use those apps. Those apps are still free. It's just paying for multiplayer. You'll need a plus subscription.
Which isn't a bad thing because you're still going to be getting the 3 free games a month.
Yeah, three free games again. Yeah, and in fact, with the PlayStation Plus subscription, they showed a bunch of indie games that you're gonna get with that. Yeah, like they had like 9 screens, and they showed like a bunch of indie games that you'll get for free with the
Including
PlayStation Plus.
Octodad, which looks fucking hilarious.
They got
Well, actually, it's the sequel to Octodad.
Octodad. They had Mercenary. They had Don't Starve. They had Raised Dead.
It's
Galaxy.
the Dead.
They had the new game from the guys who made Bastion.
They had Galaxy, the Dimensional. They had Secret Ponchos. They had Outlast, and they had a full remake of the original Oddworld, which I'm definitely gonna get because I loved Oddworld. And then what was it? And then they went on to the PS4 game. They brought up Watch Dogs. We saw some gameplay for that. I'm getting it. End of discussion. I'm getting that.
Yeah, we don't really need to go into Watch Dogs here since we already talked about it during the
Yeah, but
movie
They
press.
showed
Gameplay looks
they showed the Order. That looks amazing.
Yeah, that looks good.
That looks real. That's like some weird steampunk, like Victorian
game.
era London.
If they had a steampunk laser gun, I'm already sold.
Yeah.
And also, don't
But
forget that
a lot of some of the people watching immediately thought it was Thief, but
Yeah,
it
I thought
wasn't.
it was Thief at first. Like I'm
There
like, oh
is
yeah,
there is going to be a Thief game though. There is one.
yeah, I do know that.
and also
all of the games that they showed for the PS4, I could see as games that I would get.
yeah, that too, and versus the Xbox One.
Yeah. They showed The Order, which I was like, okay, that's something I can see myself getting. They showed Watch Dogs, which I knew I was getting. Then they made up for Ubisoft's poor showing with Assassin's Creed. Yeah, it froze at the end, but you know what? They actually moved on. They weren't like...
That was like the only screw up that they had the whole night was, and that's not really their fault.
That's not their fault. And like they were like, oh, well, just keep going. We got more
And
games.
it froze briefly during the gameplay, but and then it started again, but then it completely froze up.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
they
they and Sony really kept beat going even after the mishap.
Honestly,
Unlike
the demo
with-
wasn't that. The demo of Black Flag wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I think the main problem, as we were talking before we did the show, the main problem with the Assassin's Creed series is they're pumping out way too many games in a short period of time, and it doesn't really allow you to play. It's they're pushing out the games way too soon.
They should.
And also, I'm fearful that the profit margins for Black Flag will be lesser, because even if it sells a bunch, because they have 7 studios to pay for it.
Yeah.
Then they showed Final Fantasy 15, which looked really good.
That didn't look that bad.
Which is
I was
artist
immediately
known as Final Fantasy 13 Versus.
when I was watching that at first, I immediately was like thinking they're not going to show gameplay. I just thought that's typical Square Enix to just have a trailer and never show gameplay at all. But I was actually stunned that they actually did show gameplay.
Then they had Kingdom Hearts 3, which
my jaw just dropped. I never thought they were going to make a Kingdom Hearts 3.
they did.
I thought
My thought is it's about goddamn time they finally did it.
No, they did.
Yeah.
No, guys. They made Kingdom Hearts 3, but it came out on the PSP and nobody bought it.
That was Birth by Sleep. That was a prequel.
That was pretty cool. They showed Diablo 3. They showed Final Fantasy 14: A Realm Reborn. They showed NBA 2K14.
They didn't really show Diablo 3. They just talked about it.
Well, they talked about
Still.
it. They showed NBA 2K14, which did a much better job than NBA Live did with EA.
Though they did have a terrifying LeBron James face.
I know. That scared the.
It was all blocky and creepy.
They showed Elder Scrolls
the problem wasn't that it was blocky, it was the opposite. It was that it was too floppy. It was around flavor.
And he never blinked. The thing is that LeBron James never blinked. He was just like he kept his eyes open as he talked, and it was so scary.
They showed Elder Scrolls Online, which is probably the only game out of all these that I'm unsure of.
I don't want it.
I don't think I'm going to end up buying it. And they showed Mad Max.
It looked like an Elder Scrolls game, though. It's starting to look a bit better.
And they showed Mad Max as well.
Which is
the Mad Max trailer was interesting.
See,
I have to say is that the Mad Max game is as late to the party as the Twilight Zone pinball machine was to the 50s version of the Twilight Zone.
Still, there's still Mad Max fans.
The good thing with this Mad Max game, though, is that they don't have to rush it out because it's not like the movie's coming out anytime soon, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they waited long enough that Mel Gibson's career has been completely destroyed. I don't think they're in any rush.
Yeah, they're not in any rush. And then they finished it off with Bungie showing us Destiny.
Which looks awesome.
And then the crowning moment of awesomeness came out after Destiny finished. Out came Jack Trenton again. And then he talks about multiplayer, that it has to have a PlayStation Plus subscription, which costs about $5 a month, given that...
this actually... I think this was before Destiny.
Oh, either way.
That was before.
Either way. You have to pay for...
Also, it's more like four something, because it's $50 a year.
It's
for
$5. Just say it's $5.
No, it's $5. If you're saying it's $5, then you're saying
we'll
it's
round it up. It's
$60
basically $5. Let's not get picky here and be specific. It's $5. Okay, that's like saying that $4.99 isn't $500. It's $500.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, but sorry, but yeah, it is. It's $5 a month, and but the thing is, you get 3 free games of that. You're going to get a bunch of indie games. It's only for multiplayer. You'll still be able to go on the internet for free, as long as we know. You'll still be able to watch Netflix for free because you're paying for Netflix anyway through Netflix. So the things that you're already paying for in Netflix and internet will be free on the PlayStation 4 by the looks of it. It's just multiplayer you have to pay for, which is fair enough.
Has that been confirmed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's been confirmed as far as...
Well, to be fair, it's nearly half the cost of Xbox Live, so I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think Xbox Live is still going to be at $60 a year.
And you don't have to have a Plus subscription to play single player games.
Yeah.
And you don't need it to download content. And you don't need it to download content. You don't need it for entertainment apps. So you can still watch Netflix. You can still watch iPlayer if they decide to put iPlayer back on UK consoles or whatever it is. They have the Verizon thing in the US. They have that live events thing, which I might actually get. That could be interesting.
Yeah. And any games that you have on your PS3, that carries over.
And that carries over, from the PS Store. So you can still get stuff from the PlayStation Store without having to be a Plus subscriber.
Yeah. Well, also, I think that the stuff that you get from Plus will carry over onto your...
And the stuff that you got from Plus from 3, we assume will carry over, though that's not been confirmed yet. That's what was implied, is that it'll carry over. And then he comes out and they go into their used games policy.
Sony will have
this,
PS4 will have used games.
Let's not call this their used game policy or whatever. This was
This
like
was
their
the fucking
segment. This
Microsoft
was
segment.
like their segment of we're gonna show you all the ways we're not screwing you over, and fuck you, Microsoft.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah,
this
to pretty
got
much put it metaphorically, they pretty much took Microsoft, laid him onto the ground, spread his legs wide open, and then took a shotgun to his balls.
they
Yeah.
they basically like this got the loudest cheers of all.
Actually, no, it didn't. Actually,
yes,
no, it didn't.
did. No,
Okay,
No,
okay.
no, you're wrong.
Well,
What?
let's not get
Did.
nitpicky. You got a huge cheer. How about that?
Yes, it did. Of the
No, actually, the
conferences.
the price was what got the biggest cheer.
Well, this section.
Okay, guys, let's not get into an argument here. Both of them got huge cheers.
This section, this conference got the biggest cheer of all the conferences.
Oh, this conference is so much better than the other ones.
Yeah, this conference got the biggest crowd reaction out of all the conferences. Okay, because he comes out and he says, "We will let you share your games. We will let you lend them to friends without paying for it. They won't be linked to your account. We'll let you sell your games." Okay.
When you buy that disc, you own it for life, is what he said.
It says like you can share it, sell it, or keep it forever. And it's like you won't have to check in online, and people just keep sharing everything he says every time. It's like you won't always be online.
Well, I think it's got to the point where people are so tired of the bullshit that if someone doesn't, it warrants a massive cheer.
I don't want it.
And also, though
There's only one detriment. Apparently, Sony is saying we're going to stick to what we did in the
Yeah, but they can't.
what we did for the
the
PS3 era.
Exactly.
So there could be still some as far as used games go. So there's still a chance that we might have like online pass bullshit and stuff like that.
There's a good reason for that though, because they're a console, not a game. They can't stop game publishers from putting DRMs onto their disc. They can say, look, please don't put it onto your disc because we don't want DRM on our console. But in the end, it's up to the publishers and the developers if they want to put DRM on their game. Sony literally has no word in the matter. They can't decide whether a game has DRM in it. They can decide whether their console has DRM. They can't decide the games.
Actually, Riddler, Sony clarified to Gamefront and reported by Jim Sterling on Destructoid that DRM will only go as far as online passes, no other kind of restrictions.
Because they said that when you buy the game, you can play it forever. So that means that they will restrict them on blocking off content.
Yeah, they can only do online passes on the PS4.
They can only do online passes. There you go. So that's not really DRM. That's online passes.
Yeah.
That's what they've already been doing. How can people complain about something that's already being done in the gaming industry? That makes no sense. If they see that as DRM, they're idiots. I'm sorry.
Well, actually, Riddler, it is technically as much as of DRM as a disk check on PC or a key code for PC.
It's not as bad as freaking checking in once every 24 hours or your game gets logged.
I'll give you that. I'm just saying that DRM is very
an online pass you don't even need to get if you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's optional. If you get an online pass, then you know what you're getting into. I'm sorry. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into when you buy an online pass. How is this new and how is this, oh my god, this is a game changer. This is going to stop me from buying a PS4. My god. No, this is not a game changer. This doesn't mean that Xbox is going to win. No, this means that, oh god,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's a small drop. It is a drop.
It's really not when they've been doing this for the whole duration of PS3.
I will say this, that like, I don't like the idea of having to pay for multiplayer, but honestly, if it's cheaper than Xbox Live, then that's fine.
Yeah. First of all, I don't play multiplayer that much anyway. The only time I play multiplayer probably on like WWE games with Nathan. That's it.
And us.
And you guys, yeah. It's like that's mostly it. Okay, that's That's it.
Yeah. The biggest shortcomings of the PS4 is that it's still region locked, but
No, it's not. They've
Actually,
confirmed
no.
it's
It's
not
been
region
revealed
locked.
to not be region locked.
They've confirmed it's not region locked.
okay,
Yeah,
then
it's
I
not
take that
region
back.
They've,
Only real downside is that
the only downsides people are seeing into this is paying for online, which again, well, no, online multiplayer, paying for multiplayer, which is optional, but doing so gives you 3 free games a month, discounts on games in the store, access to a bunch of stuff that you get otherwise.
yeah, they give you an incentive to keep your subscription, you
It
know,
gives you incentive to keep it.
even if you don't play multiplayer that much.
And even if you don't get a Plus subscription, you can still use all the entertainment apps. You can still go on the internet. You can still play the games. You just can't play multiplayer. And yet the other downside that people are saying, oh, this is a game changer, is the very same policy they've had for the past 8 years of online passes. How is
It
that?
also could be easily construed that Sony will drop the online pass for their own games that they've implemented in some of their games
They could do. I don't know, but like,
because of the
how is the? But
Online
sorry, like
part.
how the online pass is something to complain about when that's been done for the past 8 years of the console's stay. I'm sorry, you should expect that.
yeah.
And when they're saying that's all we're gonna let game publishers do, whereas Xbox is like, yeah, game publishers do whatever you want. I'm getting a PS4. I'm sorry,
I'm getting one too next year.
I'm getting a
For
PS4.
Christmas.
Yeah, I actually
Give
am
me all
pretty
the
much
online
as-
passes you want. Ask for all the online passes you want. Doesn't
Yeah,
bother
I'm
me.
getting a PS4 too. Yeah, I'm
People
upset.
Yeah, people went and pre-ordered this console the moment that thing finished because of how good that did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
The
was
little
basically the deciding factor.
These journalists that are saying like, oh, the online passes, oh, PlayStation Plus, they're trying to make you think and be like, oh, maybe I should go for Xbox. No, these are people that Microsoft hired to make, oh, please buy our console.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the journalists that are saying all the bad things that Sony is doing are Xbox fanboys.
Or either Xbox fanboys or people that Microsoft paid off. Why would you buy an Xbox One? Why? Can we all... Right. I can even see buying a Wii U, right?
Yeah, because you like Nintendo.
Yeah.
I don't like Nintendo, but...
So, but see, then no, like, cause like, if you like Nintendo, I mean, the thing about Nintendo is that they know what their market is. If you like Nintendo games, then you buy a Wii U. If you don't, then you don't.
And to briefly cover Nintendo, it's the exact same thing that we saw before. It's Smash
Basically,
Bros.
new
And
Pokemon,
I
new
didn't
Smash
watch it.
Bros, new Mario Kart, and one new franchise.
But guys, no, seriously, the Wii U's that you need to go buy the Wii U now. You want to know why? You can play as Mega Man in the new Smash Bros. That's a game. That's a console buyer, right?
When it came to Nintendo's conference, it did not impress me at all.
No, Rocktown, you can play as Mega Man. Come on, man. You can play as Mega Man. It's a game
The only thing that it's actually might be leaning me towards buying is a 3DS. That's it.
Understandable.
You guys are idiots. You can play as Mega Man in Smash Bros. The console's genius.
I still love my 3DS even before the whole Mega Man thing, and really I was like, to Mega Man being announced. Though Andrew Dickman, who did like some of the art for Tigwitig, including the bad guy for Spoonie's Ultima 9 review, he's hoping that Nintendo just buys the rights to Mega Man.
So to end this, guys,
just a quick thing that bugged me about Nintendo's conference is that there was no mention of the new of the new 3DS sequel to the Link of the Past. Why would you not mention this?
Because
and also
Link
they
of
didn't.
the Past is the greatest Zelda title you guys have ever fucking created, and you don't think you might want to mention a sequel to that?
They also didn't.
That would hype the hell. That would be hype. People would fucking cream themselves over that.
Also, they
kidding
didn't. And also during the Nintendo Direct, they did not mention Yoshi's Yoshi's New Island as well, which
So
is a sequel to Yoshi's Island DS.
Let me get this straight. People are complaining that Nintendo isn't stuck in the 90s. That just tells me a lot about Nintendo's fan base right there. You're not stuck in the 90s. We're not going to buy your console. Bye.
Well, look, I keep explaining this to you, and I don't know why people don't understand it. This Nintendo doesn't care about E3.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, they don't. They clearly don't.
It does not care about it. It may as well not have shown up to E3.
But they still had their.
They
their
didn't
booth
even
set
have, they
up.
didn't even do this in front of an audience. They just had a video.
No, because they don't give a shit about E3.
Well, they did. Well, at the end of the Nintendo Direct, they showed off some of the booths
Nintendo
that
have
they
never
had.
announced anything that like really big at one of their conferences.
I think they announced like the Wii at E3, but that was the Wii back in when the Wii was coming out.
And also the Wii U.
No, they didn't announce the Wii U at E3, did they?
And this is the
Nope.
thing. I mean,
No.
at least the Wii, when it came to some of the Nintendo franchises, at least the Wii gave you new ways to play your Mario, Zelda games, or like had you play them in different ways, like Mario
New
Galaxy.
ways to play old games. Oh, yeah.
No, well, like Mario Galaxy was a different way to. Was a different experience from
Rocktan, how old is Mario Galaxy?
How old is that game?
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying that when it gave you a new way to play your standard Mario your games. The tablet, I just don't see it.
Right. So to finish this off, guys, what console are we going to be getting in this next generation?
PS4.
PS4.
Thunder?
No, there's. I mean, even Nintendo is not. Even Nintendo is not even competition for this. No. I'm sorry. This is actually. I mean, it actually saddens me that Nintendo hasn't like come out with something here. It's like, do they not care that Sony's just gonna run away with the?
No, they don't, because they're
like that.
It's because Sony and Nintendo.
Even Nintendo is not going to be competition this
because
generation.
Nintendo have completely different,
It's completely different
product.
markets, dude. Both Nintendo and the thing is, if let's say Microsoft were to like leave console gaming behind after this, which I doubt they will, but let's say that Microsoft decides, you know what, we'll finish off Xbox One, we'll leave that for a couple of years, and eventually we'll just give up consoles. Let's say they decided that Sony and Nintendo wouldn't even have to go at competition with each other. They're at two completely different markets. They could like rule the console world together if they wanted to, because they're two completely different markets.
Yeah, I think
The
that's what
thing is-
Nintendo is going for. Is they just want to co-rule. They don't want to
I
be
just
the
don't
ruler.
like the idea of Sony kind of being the only place for like real games.
No, see,
That
okay,
kind of
okay,
scare.
I
That
don't
kind of
think-
scare.
okay,
That kind of
that's
that
just-
thought does kind of scare me.
Why does that?
No, that's a nonsense word. Every game is a real game.
Even the virtual novels.
Look, I've always looked at it like this.
There is no such thing as
Nintendo's-
real games.
Well,
It's just
the biggest fuck off game of the Nintendo Nintendo conference, but the biggest fuck off Nintendo titles were like the Wii U Party and the Wii Fit. I got news for you, Nintendo. Not even your fucking.
It can't just
Not
like.
even your casual fan base gives a flying fuck about mild distractions.
No,
I
but
don't know,
except-
but
except
Rocktan.
there's a lot of people that care about Wii Fit U.
Wii Fit was a console seller.
That's like
Yeah, Wii
that's
Fit was
part
a
of their
console
market,
seller.
whether you like it or not.
I'm not even joking. Wii Fit was a console seller.
Yeah, my
Yeah, it
mom
was a
wanted
console.
refit
I
as
don't
well.
get that at all. I just.
Because there's no other work. There was no other workout thing for the PS3 and the Xbox 360, so they filled a void that people were actually looking for.
Well, there was the dance games, if you want to count that.
Yeah, but look. Right, the way I looked at it is Nintendo is now for the casual gamer, Sony's for the hardcore gamer, and Xbox is for the idiot who's never played a game in his life and suddenly thinks he can call himself a gamer.
No,
slash
no,
Halo
no.
fanboy.
Here it is.
Slash Halo
Nintendo
fanboy.
is for the casual gamer and those who are like nostalgic of the games that they played as kids. And Sony is for the people that really want to who really want to play, really care about games and really want to play a lot of good games. Microsoft is for the people that call themselves hardcore gamers and constantly talk shit about the other two consoles and it's for the gamers, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go kill these guys in Call of Duty now, gamers.
So idiots
You
who've
mean
never
the
played
pro
a game
gamer?
before in their lives.
No, they've played games, but they haven't played. But they only
No,
care about the
no,
competition of
no.
games. They don't care about games as an art.
They have played games. They've only played 2, COD and FIFA / Madden.
Oh yeah, COD and Halo, yeah.
COD,
Yeah.
Halo, and Madden, yeah.
Yeah, I
They
call
have
it the
played games,
yeah,
but not many of them.
yeah. The Xbox One is pretty much the pro gamer.
They're like the so-called hardcore gamers that actually are just like a bunch of fucking frat boys.
And I just
Really?
want to end it. I want to end it on this note. I know people are gonna buy the Xbox One. I know that for a fact. The frat boys and the dude bro Xbox.
Dude, bros.
Dude bros.
I don't know whether they will, because the PS4's cheaper than it.
Dude
And it has
bros
COD
and
stuff on
frat. No. The dude bros and the frat boys are gonna go and buy Xbox One. Idiots that just for some reason think they should be loyal to Microsoft even after all this crap are gonna go and buy Xbox One. To which I say you are an idiot and you don't deserve to have money trusted with your hands. People who just, have money to throw about apparently just go and buy an Xbox One and throw it down the toilet. Because my word to you is, if you're thinking about going and buying an Xbox One, you may as well just take all the money out of your bank and burn it. Because you should not be trusted with money. You're giving this evil corporate company, greedy, but just looking to screw you over at every turn with this console, and you're saying, yup, I'm trusting you, I'm buying into your bullcrap, I'm giving you an excuse to screw me over further, here's my money.
It would be like giving your entire paycheck and or your entire bank account, all your money to the government.
You are literally letting them walk all over you when you're giving them your money. And if you do that, you don't deserve to have money. It's as simple as that. I'm buying a PS4 because, I'm sorry, I'm not a casual gamer, and Wii U's too casual for my liking. If it did offer me something else, I might consider a Wii U. But no, PS4.
I like some of their casual games, but even here, I'm just
I get really bored. I get
this,
really bored with
there's literally, at least we had some differences in their franchises. There's no difference here now anymore.
No.
None.
Sony got my money. I'm telling you, it's £349 in Britain, $399 in America. Why would you not? That's good for a new console. That's
a lot.
And I'll say again, from what I heard from people saying, we kind of got really loud during that particular part when they announced the price. But I've actually heard people say that when they announced the price, it came close to a fucking standing ovation.
Oh wow. So, I'm sorry, but yeah.
So, that got the biggest cheer.
I mean, first of all, $350 for a new console, that's not bad.
Well, $400.
For Britain, it's $350. But
right.
for $400 for America, $400, $350, that's still not bad.
Yeah, they actually got smart this time, and
I know, it's the other way around now. Microsoft became the dumbasses.
Well, I think what it is that it took them a long time. Sony learned from
$200 cheaper than the PS3 was at launch.
It's $100 cheaper than do we all recommend and suggest that the people listening go out and buy a PS4?
Oh, completely.
Or go out if you
I agree it too. And if you really want a secondary console, just get a U. Do not get an Xbox.
If you want a secondary console, get a U. Don't get an Xbox One.
Or if you want a secondary console, get a PS3.
Don't let Microsoft think they can get away with it.
Or if you want a secondary console, get an original Wii because you can get it for cheap.
Yeah, or get an original Wii because that's got a big library now. Go back and get a PS2 because the PS2's got a huge library. Or go.
That's easier said than done because PS2s are out of print.
eBay and Amazon would probably be the best bet for that. Or, I mean, I managed to get a GameCube that's in perfect working order, so. But, we all suggest go get a PS4. If you can't pre-order it, wait until release date. And if you can't get it on release date, wait until the price goes down a little bit. But it's a good starting price for a new console.
Yes.
You go get that, and if you want a secondary console, get a Wii U. The best way you can tell Microsoft you're not happy with what they've done is not paying them. Because if you pay them, you've given in to everything they've set up with this console, and you're basically letting them do this again in the future. And we don't.
You're pretty much breaking everything if you get an Xbox One.
You are ruining your future as a gamer.
You're gonna make gaming a lot. You're gonna get guaranteed that all the bullshit won't go away.
You're guaranteeing it for yourself and for others. Don't get an Xbox One. For the love of God, don't get one. Get a Wii U if you have to, or a PS4. If you find the PS4 is too expensive for you, get a Wii U.
Oh, wait, and you know what? My advice for console buying for someone that doesn't have much money is when the new generation of consoles comes around, buy the last generation console. The PS3 is going to go down a shitload, and so is the 360 probably won't.
Speaking of the 360, we forgot to cover...
The Wii's already going for like £30 now.
I had to... Well, thanks for mentioning that. We forgot this in the Microsoft conference. They announced a new model for the 360. It pretty much looks like an Xbox One.
Yeah, pretty much so.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, guys,
Yeah, by the way, the PS4 looks sleek as hell, and it looks really... It looks slim as fuck, too.
It reminded me of the PS2.
Yeah, it reminded me of that too.
It did have a little bit of a weird shape, but I can forgive that.
Now, do you remember how the old fat PS2 looked? It reminded me of that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it looks like a mix of PS2 and PS3 put together. It looks really good, and the controller looks nice. If you're really desperate for a console, just get anything other than an Xbox One. This is a plea to all gamers and non-gamers.
Get a PC for God's
sake. Get a PC. Get something other than Xbox One.
Yeah, but my advice is buy the last generation console because they're going to be a lot cheaper.
Get a 3DS. Don't get a Vita because the Vita doesn't have
Get something other than Xbox One. Just wait a while.
Hell, I even recommend the Vita over the Xbox One.
Anything is better. Get an Atari 2600. It'll be better than the Xbox. It'll be better than the Xbox One.
Get an Atari
Jaguar.
Get an Atari Jaguar. It'll be better
get a Sega Saturn. It's better, okay?
Get a Sega CD. It's better than the Xbox One. Literally any console better than the Xbox.
I posted the picture of the new Xbox in the chat there.
Get an Apple Pippin.
Get a Commodore 64.
Get you know what? Get one of those really shitty little handheld systems that they sell to kids at libraries.
Get a Virtual Boy.
No, don't get a Virtual Boy. That's going too far.
Go on eBay. Find when McDonald's used to have the Sonic toys in their Happy Meals, and then just buy that because then you can play Sonic 1.
Just anything other than because that is the best way you'll send the message to Microsoft. You can complain.
Get those little Tiger handheld games that had exactly one game on it.
Yeah, but that's the best way you'll ever send a message to Microsoft.
Get yourself 3DO.
You can complain, you can moan, you can send emails up the wazoo. Microsoft ain't gonna do anything until they're losing money about it. So that's the best way. Just don't get an Xbox One. And they will change that policy like lightning. Trust me. When they're...
Hell, I even suggest do not get an Xbox 360.
I'm really not sure they will. I think they're locked into this right now. It might be something that even that now they're kind of locked into it, and now they can't change it, even if they wanted to.
That could be it, yeah.
I also have to say, probably you shouldn't even get an Xbox 360 just to send even more of a message.
Yeah, but, I mean, it may be something where like the current Xbox One, the architecture is kind of locked that way. They would have to make a new Xbox One that takes off all the restrictive bullshit.
Yeah. So send a message to Microsoft, and hopefully that, we as gamers, because this is a chance for gamers here to say that, to make sure if there was ever a chance, this is it, to make it clear that you're sick of the bullshit.
Yes.
Go for Wii U or PlayStation 4. Make everyone realize that you're sick of the bullshit. Make Microsoft realize that you're sick of the bullshit, and let's make this at least a good. Let's at least make this generation a good generation for gamers, and we can worry about what's going to happen next generation when that comes along.
Right.
So we'll finish off on that. We all recommend getting anything other than an Xbox One. I'm Riddler saying I personally will be getting a PS4, and I'll be enjoying every second of playing it.
This is Liquid Nation saying ba 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 fuck.
Oh great! I'm the hip hop dolphin saying Nathan's just like Nintendo and that he's reusing ideas that are years old.
I am your Lord Star.
You all like nostalgia, right?
Yes.
I will end you.
I am Ragtan saying, Wabaam, Internet!
And Ali, I don't know if you see... Ali, are you here? Ali's not here. Ali says hi and bye and get a PS4. Yeah. Goodbye, Internet. Okay, Ali.